Hello, everyone. This is a brand new podcast, and I'm doing a weird thing, and Loz is gonna poo-poo me, aren't you? No? Okay. No?
But I can poo-poo you.
Oh, no. Right, so...
I can shake my head at you.
He can. This is the first episode of Kanpai Cast. Kanpai Cast. I'm going to struggle to pronounce that phonetically correctly.
Kanpai!
Indeed. And this is an anime podcast. We put a lot of effort in this. We put a lot of pre-production into this, and so much so we have nameplates. So I am Xenogelion, and I'm joined by my regular co-host from the Warframe 10 o'clock podcast, MDRLOz, and our forever co-host Nasuth.
Forever co-host. Hi.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. We're keeping you.
You can't actually get rid of me. That's the thing. I'm stuck here.
Yeah. Yeah, like a limpet or a barnacle,
or one of those fish. One of those parasites that eats the fish's tongue and becomes the new tongue. One of those.
What?
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, that's a thing.
What?
Yeah. No, that's an actual thing.
We'll show you the nightmare fuel later.
Yeah, that's not what we're here for.
Okay,
that's not why we're
here. We are here.
Then we can discuss it at the start of next week. How many nightmares you have about these things?
Right, okay, so this first episode is entirely a trial. A lot of it was inspired by Trash Taste, along with the r/anime podcast, and various others that are dotted around YouTube. We wanted to make something different, special, and got a lot of structure. So we wanted to take a lot of things from various different shows, and we've created Kanpai Cast. I will get that correct at some point. Right, so this first episode we are going to be talking about...
We have no plan.
We have no plan.
We have no plan. So yeah, now after the official thing, I will now do the actual introduction of... Xeno's been watching anime podcasts and goes, "Gah! They get to just chat about anime every week. They're doing a rubbish." I go, "I think I can do a better job of talking about the animes. I'll bring in Loz and Nasuth to be my subordinates while I go, oh, anime good, oh, anime bad. I best talk about anime." Yep, that's pretty much it. So yeah, this first episode is probably going to be a bit rough compared to the structured format we are used to in our other podcast endeavors. But we're just testing things out, really. I think on this one, this is like episode 0. We'll say. I don't think it's even 1. I mean, there's no intro. I know you're gonna have probably
no. I'm not doing that again. I am not doing episode 0s again. You fucking did that to me. No, we're not doing a season 0, Loz. We're not going through that.
There's no seasons. We haven't even finished season 1 of 10 o'clock, and it's on episode 500.
No, right. No.
Oh, now I have to make an IMDb page for 10 o'clock.
Good point.
Oh, jeez. Right, this is episode 1. Let's simplify this. We're not going to confuse the poor YouTube algorithm. This is episode 1.
Yeah, and we're here.
Anyway, and we're here to talk about halfway through the summer season of anime 2021. Right? So we've all seen a plethora of different... I'm going to put it on... Yeah, so for example, the sheer volume of stuff that we did... There we go. So we're going to be talking about this season, and yeah. So who wants to go first? I mean, I have more shows than the Bloody Sun to talk about.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. So the first show I'm going to talk to, I'm not gonna. God, I've got it in alphabetical order, right? I'm not going to go
before you begin.
But you're not actually going to talk in alphabetical order.
Actually. No, I want to say, so for anyone who doesn't know, who are interested in it, because people maybe not know about the anime season situation, so there's normally 4 seasons a year for anime shows, which means there are roughly 12 episodes per season, yeah?
Ish, yeah.
Ish. Is a little bit of leeway, right? And sometimes shows can run from one season on to the next. So I think 1 or 2 of the shows I know one of the ones I'm talking about, for instance, is actually the summer season show, but it's carried on into, the spring season, carried on to the summer season. So what one of the things we're going to do on this podcast is probably base the way we structure what we talk about around these seasons. If you've never seen anime before, if you haven't seen anime before and you want to get into things, we hope we inspire you with some of the shows we talk about. So at the moment, where are we at? We're mid-season, aren't we? Of the summer season. We're mid-season.
So this will be a common occurrence. We're going to have we're going to have the 3 episode rule episode, right? We're going to have the 6th episode, and then it's just going to go straight to the end of season, isn't it?
Just summarize the season, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're starting in the middle of a season,
yes.
And so we've watched a few of the shows. So the three of us here have all watched. I don't think we've all watched the same shows. I think I've watched probably the least out of the three of us for this season, and we're going to discuss some of those shows, and you'll probably see them through clever, amazing wizardry done by these two here, sorted out for days in the background. If you're interested in any of the shows we talk about, the name of the show will be permanently in the top of the screen. So you don't have to talk in the comments. You don't have to say, what show was at this timestamp? It will always be there. So you never have to worry. There is the name and the year it's in. So even if we talk about previous seasons or previous years or anime from the past, we promise you the name of the show is in the top of the corner for you. You never have to worry about that. Right?
We've done the work, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Or you know, because you see it in so many podcasts, don't you? With anime, it's like, or just anime clip shows. Yeah. What show's this? And you have to wait for somebody nicely to reply to let you know, or you know, to hunt through the description. But yeah, so just to promise you, the names of everything on that you see in the background, as still images, will be in the top corner for you. So we are mid-season of the summer season of 2021, and so the sixth episode point is kind of, you're mid the way through, because it's normally 12 episodes. So it's a good point to assess how has the show gone, has it changed with those first 6 episodes, and how do we feel it's going? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it worth watching? And that's pretty much what we're now going to talk about for this summer season lineup. Right. So there we go. There's an explanation. Off you go, Xeno.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2. I didn't know it was getting a Season 2. I was really happy when I found out it was getting a season. I rewatched the whole of the first season again.
Just to let people know, when was the first season aired?
Oh, I think it was like 2015. It was this was done by Kyoto Animation. I mean, to be fair though, with most anime, when you've got like mid-season stuff, you know, there are years between the seasons. I mean, I can't. Loz, you've watched Rise of the Shield Hero more times than the Sun. Do you remember when that came out?
No, probably 5 years ago.
Okay, well, there goes my hope of trying to work out when stuff.
I'm sure you've got it somewhere.
Miss Kobayashi. This is the great thing about having multiple monitors, but then when you have a stupid drink in the way, it makes it very difficult. So let's just go.
Just knock the drink over; it'll be fine.
Hey, I destroyed my keyboard in the past. I'm not going to do that again. These keyboards are not cheap, right? Sorry. The first season was in winter of 2017, but the big thing with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid was it was done by Kyoto Animation, and between then and now they had that arson attack. Yeah, so there was a big thing like, you know, what's happening to be honest, Kyoto Animation fell off the radar for me for the longest time ever, so I didn't know that this was going to happen when it started. Like, it starts off with a real banger. Right, they had like the first episode introduces a new dragon for season 2.
For this is season 2, but I was going to say, why not? For anyone who hasn't watched the show, could you summarize the show in like 1 or 2 sentences?
Okay, so programmer, like, you know, lady programmer. She's
living in Japan,
living in Tokyo, right?
As you do.
working super hard because apparently. That code needs to get written, so she's gets blackout drunk and ends up waking up one morning with the worst possible hangover ever. She then gets she's running late for work. She gets ready and she opens up the door to the face of this giant green dragon, like right staring her in the face. This thing's head is
tall dragon, yeah. Yep.
I don't know if it's that tall, but it's bloody tall regardless.
Yeah. Right.
And introduce the character Toru, right? And she, as in the wallpaper, she's the one in the maid outfit. She's actually turned up to do the maid job that she promised to do for Miss Kobayashi. Right. Lots of conversations happen, hijinks, and in the end, Kobayashi does adopt Toru as a dragon maid. it turns out that when Kobayashi was blinding drunk, she had gone to some mountaintop where she found Toru in dragon form, and they ended up getting completely and utterly smashed. And
like
then,
you do,
you know,
like you do.
They became the best of buds. So,
Oh God, what's happened to my Flash?
Oh no! Off he goes!
Keep talking, don't worry.
Okay, so the
Just
second
keep
season
going.
starts. It starts off with a real high note. It's got a huge combat scene between Toru and a new dragon who we can actually see right now. This is Ululu. Honestly, it's an amazing show. It comes out on Wednesdays, if memory serves, and every single time there's a new episode, I'm chomping at the bit to see it. And yeah, so I highly recommend, if you've not seen the first season of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, go see it. And if you have seen the first season but didn't know there was a second season, again, go see it. I honestly highly and the quality of the animation in this one as well.
So what genre would you classify it as? Is it like a harem anime? Is it action or fantasy or a little bit all?
Hilariously, we actually get our genre information from Anime Planet. Yeah. So this is comedy, fantasy, slice of life, animal characteristics, cohabitation, dragons, maids, monster girls. Oh, it's this is actually something. It's a reverse isekai. So someone from a different world comes to our world.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah. So that's so again, really, really like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And I think, if memory serves, and if Loz is even there,
I'm here.
You know, you've seen Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, haven't you?
I have seen. I think I might be 1 or 2 episodes behind, but I'm definitely in watching it in season 2. I've seen all of season 1. Very nice, very wholesome show, and I think it's done a good job going from season 1 to season 2. Continue the plot. There's not really an over. You could almost, knowing the setting, you could almost drop in on season 2 without even knowing season 1, couldn't you?
Yeah, but
it does add to it. But I mean that there's. I'm just trying to point out that it's not like one with like a mysterious adventure or they're going on some sort of trip. You need to know it's episode by episode, the evolving relationship between the characters, and it's just kind of wholesome and nice, isn't it? There is a few elements of even the fighting is like, oh, 2 dragons fight. It's like, oh no, destruction. They're like, yeah, but this is just us like roughhousing. You know, there's nothing to it. You know.
Yeah. I will say like that's similar to Archer, the Western animation series Archer. You can pick it up from like pretty much any point, but the problem is the introduction to the characters I think is really important, right?
Yeah.
So like Kana's introduction I really liked and enjoyed. Elma the same. Quetzalcoatl and Fafnir, their introductions are pretty weak. So we're just talking about different dragons at this point.
I was gonna say those are like actual like mystical names.
Yeah, but I think I would suggest strongly start from season 1.
Yes, but I meant that somebody could watch a bit of an episode 2 season, see if they like it, and then go, you know what, I'll start again from the start of season 1. You know,
that's true. That is true. That is very, very, very true.
Right. Well, I think I've got to make sure I keep moving my hands, because I think what happened is one of my hands turned off and then my hip became my right hand. So I've got to make sure I emote as much as possible.
VR world problems.
Yes, VR problems.
VR.
Definitely. I think I will just go recalibrate one more time, but yeah, that seems to be issue. Anyway, yes, keep going. So yes, that was that show.
Okay, so should we who wants to go next? I kind of want to throw Loz under the bus because he's not there right now. He's trying to, look over Naz.
Yeah, I was actually going to offer. I'm actually going to do the weakest one, I think.
Okay.
First, which is Scarlet Nexus. Yes, that's the one.
Oh, this one. Is it this one?
It's this one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a clip for this, but I'll wait a little bit to get into it. So I inadvertently did a tiny bit of research for this while I was looking up screenshots. I have a bunch of notes, but I'm going to try not to look at them as much as possible. So this is actually based on a video game. I believe it's an MMORPG. I didn't look that deeply into it because I just didn't care enough. But I think that's kind of why it has some, like this right here, this image that you're seeing. This is this guy destroying one of the enemies, and instead of leaving a corpse behind, it just dissolves into flowers, which is very, very video gamey. Which, I mean, that's not terrible. It's just it's kind of interesting. But yeah, the special effects are amazing. Like the battle, the suits appear. So the helmets appear on their heads when they start their battle. Otherwise, they have no helmets on. That whole effect is pretty cool.
Where are we in the future?
Yes, yeah, it's very futuristic, but they also use like swords and
but are we
dual
still
blades
in Tokyo?
and I think so. They keep saying that they're in this world that their founder, or this nation that their founder started 1,000 years ago.
We could be in a video game. You don't know if you're in a video game.
It could be a video game.
Ooh.
Does it even allude to Japan?
The districts are laid out like Japan, I think, but we don't really see much. Like, one of the problems with this anime is that it does a lot. It doesn't do very much actual world building. It does a lot of telling you things.
Right.
It's
Instead
like
of showing.
Yeah, the characters are really one dimensional.
I get what you mean, because how often do we see that sort of thing with isekai shows where it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to tell you about the structure of the nation. We're not actually going to show you who's in charge of each part. We're not going to show you what the races are. We're not going to show you any of that. We're just going to tell you.
That's actually, I have the clip that I have will kind of show what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. So, So now we're going to start seeing the clips. So, yeah,
play. There it is. Yeah, that should start playing.
So is this sort of explaining the backstory of the show, really, in the show? It's in like
sort of. Yeah,
right, so
yeah.
We just had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're going to actually show the clip again. So I'm just going to mute us, and I'm going to play the clip again, okay? Right. So wait. So
always good to propagandize to the young.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a little confused here. So can they? So this isn't cybernetics. This is they've developed psychic powers.
Yes. And instead of actually showing this in any meaningful way, it does it through a propaganda commercial, which you could say is part of world building, but I don't really think it does a very good job of it, because it's telling you things that you should be finding out organically, that these people already know about. Also, why are they showing a kids program on a giant billboard?
No. I have a question.
No, I think before you continue, I think that's a good point. No, that it isn't. The way it looks like, it almost looks like they're broadcasting what is being educated to the children. Because I do see what you mean. You mean that it feels like it's weird. It's like, but they live in this world. Why would it be insane? So I don't know why they're broadcasting the
that's the thing.
Class,
if this was just being taught to the kids,
yeah. Why don't we actually just go to the kindergarten school? Because that makes sense. It's like the kids.
Yeah.
are being not. You could say like,
or,
oh, but
or
even
have the
kids would know.
soldiers
Yeah, but
talking about the Psy Link in some way.
yeah.
Or, you know.
But to see the kids being, it's almost like the state is reinforcing the, this is what your powers are, this is where it comes from, and these people are important. And you had the whole where they do the raise thing and then go Scarlet Guardians, and even the kids repeat it to like, oh yes, you must respect the Scarlet Guardian. I love the propaganding to children. Very 1984.
see that I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Although on the other hand, in the very end of the first episode, they're like, "There's going to be this vast conspiracy. Get ready!" And it's like, do you really just have to say that in the first episode? Can't
So
you
you see
just
these
uncover
two?
it?
We've got
Why
these
are
two
you
ladies
telling
here.
me?
Is one of these our main character, or they both are, or what?
Yeah, there's 4 main characters. There's these two, which oh god, what are their names?
It's protagonist A, B, C, D. There you go.
Yeah. And so the one on the bottom and the girl with white hair are actually, I'm pretty sure, they haven't actually said this, but I'm pretty sure they're actually siblings. They both have the same eyes. They're both orphans. The other guy is just his friend, and the girl, yeah, well, maybe. And the blonde girl is the quote the adopted sister of the white-haired girl.
Yeah,
So, one genuine question I have is: do they actually elaborate at all on how the fuck they can buy stuff with their psionic powers? Because like, Professor Xavier would be rich as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, yes, I'm gonna buy America because telepathy. Or Jean Grey,
as best I can tell, they use their psychic powers. The Psynet is essentially a hologram that you see in your head. So they still just use like money and everything, but it's all handled instead of over a digital network. It's handled over a psychic network.
Yeah,
which is great, but they don't actually really explain it.
Does that not sound dumb to anyone else?
Yeah, it really kind of does.
Oh, remember, this is Nasuth was saying. This is not his good choice.
This is not a smart show. It wants you to think it's deep, but it's really not.
Right.
I watched 4 episodes all the way through, and I skimmed the 5th, and it's really not deep. There's like a revolt, but you see it coming a mile away. One of the guys that's involved in the revolt does a face turn. I mean, it's stuff that you've seen a billion times before.
What do you mean face turn?
Okay, so there's a heel turn and a face turn. These are actually, I think, wrestling terms, but yeah.
So what, like you look behind you kind of thing?
No. So face turn is when a bad guy turns good, and a heel turn is when a good guy turns bad.
Oh!
Babyface and heel is, I think, the full term. Babyface is the good guys, heels are the bad guys. I don't remember where I picked that up. It's a wrestling term that I've picked up somewhere. But it's actually like really good.
YouTuber heel versus babyface, yeah?
Yeah, I never knew what. I just thought the guy hated babies. I thought he just wanted to stop. Like, that's what his. No, but I mean that's what his icon is. It's a baby's face with a heel print on it.
You monster.
Hey, I'm not the one that came up with the fucking thing.
It's a wrestling term.
I didn't watch wrestling as a kid.
Neither did I.
Right.
Okay. Cool. So
yeah, that's really about.
This guy goes from bad to good.
Yeah.
Right.
What you see coming a mile away, it's
okay. So not highly rated. Have you dropped this now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch any more of that. I didn't even take notes after the 2nd episode. I was just like, I'll remember what is important and discard the rest.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how the monsters are created, but it's not anything super amazing.
Fair.
Well, let's go from that to one of mine, which is very mainstream, and I don't think it really needs an introduction, but we'll give it just in case people don't. Can I have sorry, my deck board's messed up.
Sure.
Can I have Hero Academia up?
Done.
What is up with my tag here? I'm not quite getting it right. So yes, it doesn't really need an introduction because I'm sure most people are aware of it. If you're not, I mean, this is on its 5th season. And so obviously we just had one show where people were getting weird powers to another show, a bit much more mainstream. I think it's one of probably the most mainstream things at the moment for people with superpowers. And it's set in a school. We've got our main characters here. Obviously, if you don't know, but I'm sure most people don't need this introduced.
I just want to check. Have you guys? Sorry, obviously Lars has watched it. Nasuth, have you watched My Hero Academia?
Or are not aware of it.
See, the reason you guys brought me in was because I don't really watch much anime.
There you go.
Okay, but
I've
I was going to give the
never watched
explanation
it.
anyway.
That's
but
fine,
again,
yeah.
because obviously I felt it was good that the last show we just showed was about heroes and superpowers. This is the same. So in this world, everyone generates what is referred to as a quirk, read superpower. Normally you get one. Some people can be born without superpowers at all, and they're the quirkless. And our main character, our lovely green-haired character there, is Deku, and he was actually born quirkless. But I won't spoil the show or even back in season 1 stuff. But he gains a quirk, but you'll have to see whose quirk or how he gains a quirk later on. No, that's fine.
Are you sure? Because season 1's even out on Netflix and everything.
I know. I'm not. Well, no, I'm not spoiling for Nasuth. So he's born quirkless, but he gains a quirk. You'll see. But anyway, so the main thing I just want to update on this show, because obviously you said that other show just now about powers and things, which seem quite similar. You know, you've already dropped it after only 6 episodes. I mean, I'm still watching this 5 seasons in. So the good thing is obviously when you get a quirk, you can either use your powers. You can just go into the normal world. We're in Japan, obviously. The normal world, just work as a normal worker, or using your powers, you can become a superhero. But to become a superhero, you have to go through superhero school, which is what we are seeing our lineup of heroes. There we go. There's some of the heroes and lineup of them going through school and learning. So I think they do 3 years worth, and they're almost through at this point. Season 5 almost finished the first year of school. This season's did start in summer.
What? 5 seasons and they're only through 1 fucking year of school.
We are. Yeah, or are we on the second year? I can't remember, I think we are on the first season still. First year of school.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, because I imagine when we do get to year 2, we'd have they'll introduce all the new year 1s. I don't think that's happened yet.
So
how
just
long
planned for 15 seasons.
Probably, it's one of these endless shows. It's probably gonna. It's doing really well though. It's really fun.
They're covering it in real time.
Yeah, and so there's interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the last episode actually they said that it's been a hectic first year for them, and it really has after so many seasons worth. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I gotta look up how many episodes this has.
It's doing really good. I think it's good. It does a really good job. So you've got an ensemble cast. I probably should have found more pictures. I tried to find images because we're still setting up this. This is mainly on the recent episodes, but I think I will. Obviously, our images will expand as we go. That's one of the cool things. Yep. But it does a good. The show does a good job of balancing all the cast of characters. I mean, to start with, the main focus is a school classroom of characters. I don't know how many kids are in the class. But then obviously they have established heroes and other heroes and in fact, there's definitely 2 classes that they fully show you. I mean, you see one of them in one of the images, but that's the B class. Our heroes are in the A class. But then there's other years as well. But also what are these kids going to do being heroes? So the other thing is, if you've got people with superpowers just aimlessly lying around, some people are going to be villains. So in the world, there are groups of villains going around. And I will not expand on the meta super plot that's going on too much, but there's interesting stuff to do with what are powers developing, moving powers between people. Obviously, that's the central premise of the show. Finally, there we go. There's them. You see, that's their first year Christmas. There you go. Look at them all happy at Christmas. And so yeah, I feel it's going quite strong. That's what I want to point out. It does do a good job of mixing up the elements they're going throughout each school year. And in this season 5. We started in the summer, so spring, and we're now in the summer, so we're still the second half of it. I think we're on episode 18, I think, at the moment. They've had interesting challenges where they've picked classes against classes, and, the villains are obviously expanding their plot. And yes, then we had a beach episode. You've got to have a beach episode.
Of course,
yeah.
Well, considering it's 5 seasons, how many beach episodes has it had?
I think that's the only one I can think of, actually.
Right. So I just ran some quick maths. So going from season 1 to season 5, it's had 113 episodes, right? Yep. Assuming that season 5 ends on 25 episodes.
How many have you seen? You've seen a bit of it, I know, at least season 1.
I've seen a chunk of it. I don't know where I stopped, but
just keep you updated. It's going strong and it's pretty good.
Right? My point is that
it's only halfway through a year.
There's more than 2 stories a week for an academic year. So 52 weeks. So we've got more than 1 crazy event happening per week.
They've actually got one happening every day, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2 a day.
No, but that's not how it works, is it? Is that they'll get a big serious event, let's say like when the villains attack the school, which happens, and then that will like 4 or 5 episodes will be devoted to that one event. But in reality, it only took 2 or 3 hours of their life, you know. So it's not quite lined up like that, is it?
So where I stopped with My Hero Academia was basically I caught up with it, and I just couldn't take watching it week after week because it kind of slowed down quite a bit. Is where they're trying to get their hero license or something.
Yes, yeah.
The fact that's in that's in first year of school is, and it's not the start of the school year. It's actually like halfway through the school year. Is just a bit. So I think I stopped mid season 3.
Right.
I think, or maybe early season 4, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like, so okay. Well, it's still going through. My question for you.
They spent that. This I don't want to be in. Personally, I wouldn't want to be in this world because they spent their Christmas break because they got their hero licenses now. They spent most of what I would have considered Christmas and winter break, like doing work experience at a hero like group of heroes working out. That's what they did. They spent. I don't want to spend my holidays doing work when I'm a school kid. They seem to. It's weird.
So, if memory serves, from like the first episode of My Hero Academia, they actually they state that like only a small percentage of the citizens, right, have quirks. They have superpowers.
No, it's the other way around. It's very, very rare for someone not to have quirks.
Are you sure?
Yes, I rewatched that only 2 or 3 days ago.
Okay, fine.
It's because the main character is literally, as a kid, it's like, you know, they go to the doctor and they look at his toes and he has a extra bone joint on his little toe, and it's something like, you know, oh, this is disappeared now for most people, yet he still has this old extra joint which is fused and dissipated for most people genetically, and that's a sign that he's kind of not one of these advanced or, you know, evolving humans is what it's.
He's a genetic throwback.
He's a throwback, and so he's all waiting to get his quirk as a kid, and it turns out he never will. His mum is just. This is all in the first episode, and the mum is just apologizing to her. It's so terrible. It's so depressing a moment when, you know, the kid's like, I want to be a hero, and it's like, Mum, how am I going to be a hero? And this like 6-year-old or 5-year-old or something is just crying, and the mum is just apologizing, you know, for there's nothing they could have done, but, you know, she's literally just apologizing for having her son and him not having powers, and you know, it's all she can do is just feel it's her fault, and it's just so depressing. Obviously, he gets powers, and it's then his journey from there. But it's interesting. It's been if people aren't aware of it and watching this, it is a good show, worth a watch. You know, watch season 1. As you say, it's even on Netflix. You can watch this because it's been going so long. You can watch it either subbed, there's something we haven't talked about, subbed or dubbed. You know, both are good. Both are pretty good, I hear. So yeah, I'd say check it out. But yeah, and I'd say it's going strong in its 5th season. I'm going to bring this back up when it goes to the next season. I'm sure I'll update Xeno. So at one point I'll say, like, Xeno, you have to watch it now. It's so good. So we'll that one will come back.
One thing I will say is, if you're going to start watching the first season, you pretty much have to finish the first season for the show to start getting good, which I really hate to say, because normally you have to abide by, like, the 3-episode rule is pretty much good enough. Now, I
think it does a good job in 3 episodes.
I really don't think it does. Are you kidding? Like, he hasn't done the thing by the 3rd episode.
Maybe, but I just the sheer depression and the sheer you know, you see him as a kid and then he's like a teenager and he's still like this, even though, you know, I was just inspired because he doesn't let it take him down. You know, he still wants to go do things. You know, you know, I know it's a sad thing to say, but he could think his life was over at the age of 4 because he doesn't have a superpower in a world of superpowers. Yet he you know, you just get inspired by his sheer perseverance. It's great. I enjoy it. All right, it's back to you, Xeno, for the next one.
Oh, before we go on, I just want to say, there's a group shot that was in here. It's been, you know, scrolled through several times, and. I have no idea what's going on there, but I love their costumes. Like, just the sheer variety of costumes in there is amazing.
Oh yeah, well, when you become a superhero, basically, you have to have a costume designed. You design your own costume, and then they build it for you, and you have to design your own hero name. So it's so cool, and obviously a lot of them are themed on their powers and things. I wonder if it won't randomly pop up now, will it?
Probably not.
No. I mean, to be fair, I could just delete all the other now.
No, I just wanted to, as somebody who's never watched it, although I probably will after this now.
Yeah, some of the group shots.
Yeah, this
people.
one.
There you go.
Yeah.
This one, there you go.
So you've got different people with different powers.
So many cool
There's
outfits
a mushroom
there.
girl. Oh, I can't even say all these powers.
What the fuck is the castle thing in the background? The yellow guy.
I can't remember. So, but obviously, this is the second class, and they did Class A versus Class B, and they all have different powers. I can remember the redhead girl's power. She's like one of the main characters. She can like make her limbs really big, and she can attack with them.
Okay.
I can't remember what the castle guy did. I think he
Inflatable
fortifies
arm,
things.
flailing
She can
tube man.
avoid people. Yeah, yeah. And then
Oh,
obviously
now.
they're not. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Move
Cool.
on to the next one. What you got, Zeno?
So the next one I'm going to talk about is Drugstore in Another World: The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. Right.
Great name.
I don't know who the target demographic for this is. I think certainly younger than myself. Right.
Right.
The whole premise is, it's like, if it wasn't for that it's in the title, I genuinely wouldn't know this, right? The guy there that sat behind the counter or like leaning over the counter, he has been isekai'd, right?
Right. Okay.
Maybe it has been explained. I really can't, like, the problem is this is one of those isekai shows that I just like, that's nice. I'm going to go over here now. Honestly, I struggled with this show quite a bit. I watched 3 episodes. The sheer volume of reused footage was insane.
Wow.
And like basically there's like a song and a dance to creating drugs. Like, so he's creating these drugs and things.
Drugs, quote unquote.
Yes, let me get to that in a second, right? So he's so he's like, you know, preparing all these. I wanted to get a clip of it, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to suffer through the actual clip again. So, but it's a song and a dance. It happens. I stopped after the 3rd episode because it happened twice in one episode. Yes, right. You see, I get it with old school anime from like the 80s, like Tekkaman Blade, where they need to add in filler because doing cell drawn animation takes a really long time, so on and so. You know, this is early days of anime, so they reuse footage of, like, you know, the transformation sequence or stuff like that. Right? Yeah. I get that, but like in today's stat, like, oh yeah, I'm making drugs, and I'm like, he's got like a pestle and mortar, and it's like, oh, for the love of... Okay, then the next thing that really did my fucking head in. Did you know that perfume is a drug? And moisturizer is a drug? And tea is a drug? And bug repellent is a drug?
I just want to check. So, firstly, I mean, it depends on your definition of the word drug. Is it in actual fact that it's a mistranslation and they're just a chemist? And they are things you sell. You listen to other things you might sell in a chemist.
It might be a case of it's taken from. I don't know if they refer to them.
Who did the translation? Is it Funimation?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, that explains it. Yeah, it's just a bad localization.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the localization in America. You don't call them chemists, do you? You call them
we
drugstores.
don't. Drugstores, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, or pharmacists. Do you call them pharmacists?
Sometimes. It depends. Usually the pharmacist actually runs the pharmacy section, and then it's also just a drugstore in general.
Okay, cool. But for us, we either call them chemists, pharmacists, you know. Drugstores are typically like a separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
know where you would have a drugstore would be a shop without a pharmacy.
Yeah.
You know, with no
or it has a very,
no
very tiny pharmacy.
It's just got over-the-counter drugs,
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we've got the premise of the show, and so we're 6 episodes in. Is it so?
No, I dropped it after 3.
I dropped after 3. Wow, okay.
I just couldn't take it. Like, you know, this character here, this girl, she is the daughter of this noble woman who wants to have a drug that makes her youthful, right?
As you do. You know, just
as you do. Give me the youthful drug. So he creates a moisturizer for her, right? Okay, fair enough. And, you know, but then the girl gets obsessed with the chemist. I'm gonna call him chemist, and she's like, I can't. The plot gets like weird and inane, and like he ends up making the perfume for the little girl.
Mhm.
And the girl then decides that she's going to start working at the pharmacy, at the drugstore, and it's just like, but I'm the owner of the drugstore. You can't tell me what to do. It's like, nope, I'm working here now. It's just like, and then you've got the little wolf girl, who is probably like the only redeeming quality of this show.
Right.
She just like steals the drugs. Like, so there's like an energy elixir kind of thing. Right. So like an MP potion in an RPG, and she just starts downing these MP potions, and it's just like, whoa. That's for the client. So the chemist typically has to give he gives the wolf girl the delivery and her own stash, so that she drinks her own stash and not the client's.
Right.
So, but like, yeah, it's. I struggled with this show. This show is definitely not for me. It was not targeted for me.
Yeah, that sounds like one I'm gonna definitely skip to.
Cool. I'm just thinking. I don't know how many I've gone. I've only gone through 2. I'm tempted to go to another one of mine.
Yeah, go for it.
Give us some whiplash, shall we say? And I'm not gonna explain the show. I cannot explain the show as good as this clip that I got. I need to give you guys the full experience of how I experienced this show. The show's called Girlfriend. All right, are you ready?
Kanojo Makojo.
Yes.
As once again, name in the corner.
Yes. Right, you ready?
Yep.
Right. No, you're not. You're not actually. There we go.
I don't know how long we've been talking
since the episode. So you were saying about explaining what the show is.
I missed some quality jokes there. Damn.
All of that.
Okay, right. So
just me face palming in mute is what people have seen.
Yeah. So
right, I'm going to turn this way and try and play around with some things for a minute while you explain all that again.
So basically, this feels like a horny teenager's fan fiction, right? They have no concept of how relationships work in the slightest. And the joke that I used mere moments ago, which unfortunately for us will fall a bit flat, is I genuinely feel like I've written this in my notes that this is the living embodiment of the Will Ferrell Anchorman meme of, well, that escalated quickly. Because in the first episode, and then I'm going to give you a little synopsis of what actually happens, he meets up with his girlfriend, right, who's already established at the start, the redhead girl. She's the girlfriend that's already established, and and then
that actually gives that clip even more context.
Yeah, so they're already going out, right? Then the blue-haired girl, she comes up to him while he's alone on the rooftop, because in a lot of Japanese schools, the kids have access to the roofs. So she comes and she confesses her love for him, right? Little does he know that she hasn't actually been attending school, and she's actually in his class right, for the last 3 weeks or 3 months. Like she's been because she's been trying to like really anyway perfect her cooking and stuff. Anyway, so she confesses her love for him, and he didn't want to cheat on his girlfriend, his existing redhead girlfriend.
So he said no.
So his solution was, I'll get approval to date both of you at the same time. Right? So
His logic is undeniable.
Right? So he goes to introduce the blue-haired girl to the redhead, and unfortunately, I can't remember any of their names. Actually, I don't know if that's a fortunate thing. But anyway, so when he does the introduction, instantly he's sort of like pushed to the side, and the redhead says, let's go hang out for the day, right? He wants to actually say, let's be in a group relationship, and instantly he's pushed to the side.
Nice.
They hang out for the day. With them, like the blue-haired girls made them food, made them lunch and everything. And then we had the scene that we just saw, right? From that scene, can you envision any way that the redhead girl could say yes?
Is the redhead girl is the childhood friend?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Add the trope in. You know, the childhood friend just
that lives next door.
That lives next door just loves the protagonist more than life itself. So yes, I can see how, because they'll like begrudgingly accept it because they'll sort of this person's not that bad.
Actually, she didn't say yes initially, right?
Right.
She like he kept on asking her out, and eventually she said yes, right? And oh god, I'm trying to remember how it resolves, but effectively, like she keeps on beating him up. He's like, I'll never cheat on you. Like, it's either you give approval or it'll never happen. It's like, and she turns around and says, like, how on earth could you expect this girl, the blue-haired girl, to actually also agree to this? And the blue-haired girl goes, I already agreed to it. The red-haired girl goes, oh, okay, that seems legitimate. Let's become a group relationship. I was like, wait. What? Then it goes one step further. Are you waiting for the whiplash here?
Oh, right? No.
My neck is spun one way. Okay, right.
So how is this relationship going to work out, right? I don't know. How's about we all live together?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just logical.
Okay, that's it's just like, hold on. So they all move in together. This is the first fucking episode.
I mean, you only need a one-bedroom apartment. You'll save on money. It's just smart.
No. For some strange reason, this guy has like a multi-bedroom house to himself.
What?
Okay.
Where's his parents?
I don't know. I have no idea. It might have been said during the whole like narrative of the story, but like the sheer insanity of this show. Like, I was just like, what the hell? So I ended up watching a few more episodes, right? It's like the logic in this show is just absolute insane, right? How they get from one event to another, just right. He ends up picking up a third girlfriend that he doesn't want. Right? So, because they're keeping the relationship of the three of them all hush-hush and everything, they're having food, like... Anyway, they come across this YouTuber, and the YouTube... Like, this is really recent, so I'm sorry I'm having to spoil this for everyone. But, like, I don't recommend watching this. Anyway, so she turns up...
So you're not really spoiling anything anyway.
Anyway, so this YouTuber turns up, and... They work out that, because as a YouTuber, she's like covering up her face and things, and does her hair differently. It's like, oh wait, you're that YouTuber. She's like, what? How did you work out it was me? And I was like, well, we saw your uniform in the thumbnail of this video that you posted yesterday, and you've removed it since then. Also, you fucking look exactly like her. Then her resolution, her conclusion was that she was also going to date the guy as well. The guy then turns around and says no, because he has no feelings for her.
Right.
And then she camps out in his lawn. So on his lawn. Right? So she basically found where she stalked them, found out where they lived, and set up a tent in their garden. And was sleeping there. And because she was all cold and everything, like, you know, she said it's like in the middle of May and it's freezing. And she starts doing exercise to warm up and things. And she starts to record it so she can make enough money to buy supplies and equipment so she could actually stay. And, like, this girl is like fucking insane, right? Normal people wouldn't do this.
Well,
but yes,
normal people would also call the police if this was happening.
Exactly. They actually said, should we call the police? Sorry, no. One of the characters, one of the three of them, says, should we call the police? Nah.
I think this is giving me secondhand brain damage.
Yes! It's like the logic whiplash is just insane in this one.
Right, so you have stopped this show, watching this show after how many episodes?
Oh no, he's addicted. He's hooked now.
No, I'm not.
Oh, he's
good. I've watched 5. I don't know if I'll keep going. This like there was another show last season which was like something or another full dive. Like life is better than this shitty full dive game or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. That was a train wreck, right? But it was you can't stop watching train wreck. This is like my head hurts from like spinning around too much. I can't keep up. Anyway, I'll delegate to Nasuth now.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Very. You had a lot to say about that one for show that you just. so just literally the mindset of the characters didn't feel like real people to you. Yeah,
you couldn't fucking. There's no way on earth anyone would agree to any of this shit.
I mean, you keep saying the logic is insane, but I find no logic at all.
Well, no, I mean they're fucking finding logic. They're agreeing to stuff. They say like, yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to. Hey, let's live together. What the fuck? Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna do Nighthead 2041.
I just want to check how many more of you are you gonna do after this, Xeno?
I can. Sorry, hold on. Let's pause real quick. Yeah.
Oh, you've paused.
And this is why you don't give Xeno controls over things, because he accidentally hits the stop recording button like a fucking muppet.
Teething issues on the first episode. I love that you spent all this time setting up so that we've got our computers connected so that we have control of all these different things through other people's computer. And Xeno's like, stop button.
The big shiny red button.
Apart, so you don't push the wrong one. I'll put stop. And there we go. Let's keep going then. So move on to your next show that you would discuss from this season.
So this show is called How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom.
I'm smelling an isekai.
You are smelling an isekai. It is very isekai-esque, right? So I'm going to keep watching this one. I've currently watched it up to date. However, I do feel that the show suffers from generic isekai-ism, if that makes sense. So the plot is
that a harem I see before me?
No.
Oh.
No. Close. It's not far. So I ended up catching I caught glimpses of this show from a anime YouTuber from the Mother's Basement, and I think his name is Jeff Fu, and he basically sold the show on to me. The fact that it has like loads of memes in it, like this image right here. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh piss take. It has like the whole Yu-Gi-Oh eyes, weird Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. Right. There was another one that we saw moments ago where he was doing the whole. I can't remember the name of the meme, but it's where he's like doing the salt over his elbow.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was very much like, oh yeah, it's like it's meme-rific. It's really not meme-rific at all, right?
Right.
But the premise is that this guy gets isekai'd, he gets summoned, right? He doesn't get murdered, he gets summoned, and the king, who can't financially afford to contribute his kingdom's donations to a war effort against a invading demon force, intends to actually send this summoned hero on behalf of the kingdom, right? So this is our contribution. We've summoned a hero. That's our contribution.
That's it. Done. Now leave me alone. I don't have to pay you in grain.
Right. But yeah, this was the other meme one you get. But the big thing. So basically, the hero ends up turning around, going like, "Well, how often can you actually summon a hero? Like once every 30 years? And when do you need to do the next payment? Like in a month?" I was like, so this isn't really viable, is it? And
so they want so they didn't really think far enough. They summoned one hero and went, right, that's it, we're done. And they're like, yep, we'll just keep summoning heroes. And it's like, but wait, you've summoned me, which is this month's tithe, let's say. It's like, but do I count for multiple tithes? No, you count as one. So what are you going to do next month? Is what you're saying happens.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he's like, the kingdom hasn't thought it through at all. The king hasn't thought it through, and then the king abdicates the throne to the hero.
Wait.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's like, oh my god, you're really smart. Why? Because I could add one together.
Because I can think beyond tomorrow.
So he's the king of idiocracy then.
Yeah, so basically he becomes the king of this kingdom, right? And then he needs to buy, oh crap, he needs to buy something. I can't remember what he needs to buy. Or he has to get out of some like debt or something like that. So the first thing he immediately does is sell a portion of the kingdom's gold. Right?
What the hero does.
Yes. And it's just like, wait a second, if the hero could have done, why didn't the king fucking just send the gold? Right? And it's just, and the princess, she's the one that's in this in the background of this picture. She turns
I actually
around.
like that character design. That's really nice.
Yeah,
It's
right.
really nice, yeah.
Like, so she turns around and says, like, you can't just give away everything. And he's like, no, I didn't. Right? Anything that looked like it had culture or anything like that, I kept. Right? So that was safely locked. So that's like grade A treasure. We've kept that. Anything that has like historical value, grade A treasure, so on and so forth. Right? Anything that's just like gold and gems, like not crowns, not scepters or anything, like anything that's just gold and gems,
raw materials, more
yeah,
currency.
exactly.
Yeah,
that's the shit that we sent off. And then anything that's a mystical, magical artifact, we put away in a special vault to keep it safe. Like, fuck, I have any idea what the fuck that does, right?
Right.
So that was his logic, right? And then he turns around and starts like, he says like, I need better people. I need a better. Oh god, what?
Council.
Yes,
underlings.
thank you. I need a better council, which is what you saw. What you thought was the harem,
right? That's his new council.
That's his new council. So it's like and he basically he turns on the broadcast gem system, not television. So it just says like, if you think you are the best at something, turn up. And let's talk and things. And apparently, like, loads of people turn up and things. And they got like the best warrior, the best singer, the best chef. And he's infatuated with the chef, right? Because he can like make food out of anything. The best strategist. I'm like, why didn't you go with the strategist first?
I just want to check, right? Okay, so these are all people from the kingdom he's now in charge of.
Yes.
That had a king which was like
came
up with plan A, couldn't organize routine payments, came up with a one fit all plan, which was only step one of a one fit all plan, not a this is good enough, and then just goes, right, that doesn't work. Step 3, I'll just abdicate to the person I've just summoned.
Yep.
Is the king still living there, or has the king left?
No, the king's still living in the palace, right? He's doing fuck all. He's not the king. Sorry, the ex-king, right? He's still living in the palace.
Why hasn't
Why
he
is he
been
still in the
strung up?
palace? If I was summoned and the person abdicated, and it's like, right, well, I'll give you everything to do. I'm like, right, okay, so this is my palace now. Yes, you're now king. Okay,
Get the fuck out.
you get out of my palace.
Yeah.
This is my palace.
I think I'm going to keep watching this show.
And sorry, my next point was I didn't even realize, right? Yeah. So he thinks in the kingdom he's just been given that has such a stupid king, he's going to find the best at anything. I mean, if these people let this person be king, I doubt they have the best strategist or the best anything.
I mean, you don't vote for king, so you know.
No. So he advertised for the best people that can do anything.
Yes, but they're in a kingdom which is stupid.
Well, no, it's just the king never actually changed his staff. He's just like, oh, you know, these are the staff that my father had. These are like, you know, they were just nobles, right? They didn't get their
nepotism.
Yes, exactly. It was massive amounts of nepotism. So he actually went like, you know, if you're thinking, so like that. But the thing that I kind of dislike about the show is how slow it is.
Right.
Like a lot of the shows that are on this season, they have this horrible tendency to just like have pauses. Think.
Shall we talk about? Should we sit in a room and talk about our feelings and things we've had to do?
I'll get to power up for 5 more
room.
episodes.
Yeah.
Should we? So I'm gonna keep watching this, but I think on that segue, let's talk about your thing, Loz.
Oh, you want? Okay, I was going to end, but fine. Well, I've set it up. Sure. Let's is it right?
You want me to hit the button?
Okay. Yeah, I think is that the button. There we go.
You got it.
Right.
You got it.
So, this is a popular show apparently, and I loved. This is season 2 of a show. So this show is that time I was reincarnated as a slime. We have a standard Japanese
season 2 part 2.
Yes, season 2. I'm going to get to that. So I just want the background to the show for Nasuth, who probably hasn't seen it at all. It's a good show at first, very good show. We have our standard Japanese salaryman who dies. I think gets run over by a car or a truck or something. No, he gets attacked by a person, doesn't he? Gets stabbed. Yeah, so he dies, and then he gets reincarnated in a adventure world.
What is it with all these isekais?
It is just the thing of the time. I'm sure we'll have an episode coming up soon discussing isekais.
Yeah.
But still, it gets reincarnated. They all have little twists, and in this one, he's reincarnated as a slime. Now, I don't have any pictures of the slime Nasuth for you, but the button on the thing is the slime. Small blue blob. You know, slimes are never really that important. But because, you know, got reincarnated, gets given magical powers and basically has a computer brain inside of them that gives them all these things. And the first season is pretty good. It expands on the the journey.
I want to correct. I want to elaborate on computer brain. So basically, it's like, it's basically this sort of sentience that exists that they can communicate to
the slime
in their head.
Yeah.
No, it's not just the slime that has it.
Oh,
it's established that I think the other isekai characters also have access to it.
Maybe, but there'll be different ones, or they'll get different powers from it, or whatever. But you get some cool powers for being, you know, you got reincarnated. Here's some cool powers. You're not just a bog standard slime. And then it goes on an adventure. The first season is really cool. Founds a town, learns about the world, starts making their own little army and things. It's really cool. First season. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Founds a town. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. Founds a town. Basically, finds some goblins, and the goblins are like being beaten up by some wolves. They're all monsters that can talk. And then the slime joins the slimes to protect, so the goblins to protect them. And then the goblins like hail it as their leader. And then because it defeated the wolves, it's a pack of wolves that defeats the leader of the wolf pack. The wolf pack then goes, well, you're our leader now. So he goes, well, I've got a pile of goblins and I've got a pile of wolves. I'll make a town. There we go. You know.
I get it. Okay, so it's an isekai, but it's he's helping the monsters instead of the people.
Yeah. It's really the first season. I admit is just really fun. What's the next threat? And then it's like, okay, now we're actually an established town. The next town over is like, oi, who are you? What are you doing? So then they have to have relations with them, but at the same time, things are happening. Then there is some. That's the end of season 1, which is a few years old, I think, at this point. We don't need to look up the date.
No, it's not that old.
It's not a year or two, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So then we have some filler seasons when not much happens. They're called the Slime Diaries. And now we're into season 2, which was split into 2 parts. And we're now on in the current season of right now on the summer season is part 2 of season 2. Now, season 2, the first half of it, not a great deal happened. But the thing I'm really hating about this current season, all of the footage you see here is in a gazebo where they're discussing things. And they're having meetings. These are all different monsters and things. Some of them, we've got the fairy is a demon lord, and that's a weird demon person is captured. And that's a human and some sort of magic lady that has got killed and reincarnated. There's some cool characters and things going on. But so I really want to say that anyone who wants to watch the show, I do think season 1 is great. Go watch that. Even the filler arc, I've seen most of the filler arcs, the Slime Diaries, was fun stuff. If you enjoyed season 1, you'll happily enjoy the filler stuff, which is kind of cool in a show. I think it does good stuff. You're just expanding the characters and they're doing a bit of fun hijinks and things like farming and things and developing sub characters. It's kind of cool. It's good. But then I'm not going to go too much to it, but this is not the time I got reincarnated as a slime anymore in the current season, which is airing now. I literally on double speed watched episode 6 just before we recorded this, just to see if anything has changed. The show has gone from interesting stuff with it's an army of invading orcs. How do we deal with that? Oh, here's a demon lord come to do that. Oh my god, we've got to save these other reincarnated people because they're broken and they might die soon. How do we solve that? To the current situation, which I'm pretty sure these pictures I've taken, which I found while we were recording them a second ago, are from at least 3 episodes. Of the 6 episodes,
3 different episodes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, we've spent at least 3 or 4 episodes in a gazebo having meetings. This is that time I got reincarnated to have a meeting now.
So
it's nothing else but.
Did they let George Lucas guest direct this season?
Oh, this person's a dragon. That's a dragon in human form, which is really cool and interesting. Like the whole show, that this is one of the first characters they meet, and it's like freeing the dragon. They finally freed the dragon. They give it a human form, and it's sitting around reading manga while they have a meeting in the gazebo.
Yep.
But that's like, it's one of the key points about freeing this dragon was from the episode 1. It's like, oh my god, they freed the dragon. And as you can see, he's lounging on a recliner in the gazebo reading manga. That is what we do with our amazing
while
dragon.
the meeting's happening.
Yes, and at one point in one of the episodes, I just want to point out, we stop our meeting because they're like, oh my god, is that the dragon? And then 3 of the people go to a different room to have a sub-meeting before returning to the gazebo meeting. I watched the current episode. It consists of, finally, the bad guys having a meeting, and then some new characters having a meeting in an ice palace. That was an episode. And I don't get why on the current. One thing we were gonna, I think, at the shoot should be able to put the ratings up for how these things are, and we'll compare our views versus them. This is, I think, the top rated show this season.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Awful. It's just meetings in gazebos and rooms and at desks and at tears and having tea. Oh yeah, and then at one point we stopped the gazebo meeting to all get dressed in traditional Japanese is it yukatas? Yukatas, I can't remember the clothing. And we sit down and have a meal and a meeting.
Hey, at least they're multitasking. Like you're saying they were only doing one thing, just talking, but here they're talking and eating. That's an improvement,
That's what they do. And then they finally got the conclusion of the meeting was like, all right, we should do something about this bad demon lord thing. And then the main character just instantly, in the meeting, gains the ability to get mass teleportation, which nobody has been able to use at this point, and evacuates an entire country of refugees to his country, and then moves his army there. So the meeting took forever, then he magically gained the power, and then it was like a couple of shots, and he's just done that. And then we're back to meetings in rooms. It's just... I love the show, and I'd really love to do. If we were doing this on the season 1 for this little discussion, I'd be telling you amazing stuff, Nasuth. You should watch the show; it's really cool. The characters are developing. This then happens. This then happens. This happens. It's so cool. Now at this point, though, I'm hoping it gets better, but I would drop this right now. If this was the first season, meetings in rooms is not that. As I say, that time I got reincarnated to have a meeting in a room. It's just So it's just not worth watching, I think, at the moment. But just let people know. I mean, we don't want to just say good things. This used to be good. What happened to my show?
Used to be good.
I'll be honest. I'm inclined to wait to hear what Loz says about the show at the end of the season, and see if Loz says it's worth watching.
I promise you, for the end of the season, I will go back and watch through it and time the amount of each meeting, and I'll give you a breakdown on the meetings, right? Of time. That'll be our summaries for you. How much time was spent per episode in meetings and an overall season in each meeting. There you go. Right. So let's move on to something more exciting. Pull something exciting for me to wash my mouth of this horrific meetingness. After I have a meeting at work, I normally want to come out, watch something exciting.
Now,
I just look at these screenshots. There was more, by the way. I could have put more screenshots. All these screenshots. Bloody meeting in a gazebo. That is still the same gazebo right there. Different character in the gazebo.
I can see it in the background. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
right.
I don't know if mine is more exciting, but it is at least an action-oriented one. It is Nighthead 2041.
Ooh, right.
20. Why did I put 20? Oh no, that's the year 2021. Jesus.
That's the year.
So this is a. I don't know if it's fully 3D or if it's the whole live 2D that's technically like just cell shaded 3D or whatever, but it's that sort of animation style, which that's fine. That's probably save some money here and there, save some time. It's actually based on an anime from 1992, which I liked it enough to go and look it up a little bit, but I didn't spoil myself on the original. It looks like it only follows 2 of the characters that we have in this show. So there's 4 protagonists. There's 2 groups of 2. One of them both sets are brothers, but one pair are on this. One of them is right here on the screen right now. They're part of the. Oh God, what was it called? It has this really stupid name. It's the name of the task force. Special Weapons Enforcement.
Sweet. Any sweet.
But they're not really tracking special weapons. They're tracking psychics and miracle workers.
Right. So just to break down. So what's our setting? So it's set in the future, 2041.
Yes.
Are we in Tokyo?
It is set in Tokyo, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
But it is at least in our world, and
it's in our world. Okay. Right.
It's a world where there's been a World War III. And as a result of that, they're trying to just completely outlaw any religion, any fiction, anything that has any mystical connotations. They want to only believe in things that you can prove. My first clip actually does a really good job of kind of pointing that out. So let's
have a look at this then. By the way, I'm not going to get you future episodes clips of meetings.
I think it's actually set up, isn't it? Yeah, there it goes.
Interesting. So I saw in the background there. We actually heard the voice. Are we back? Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, good. So we had the voice. Is that the government on the radio? I thought Abbott was.
Saying that. I mean, it's the news, but it is propaganda. Yeah, exactly.
The news. Yeah, they're going to crack down on anyone spreading information that cannot be physically proven.
Yes.
So it's all about what. Right. So just to take what we saw in context. So we saw the glass got lifted into the air and crashed, and it broke and it was on the table. How does that play out? If those 2 people then left the room and went to the police and said, we saw somebody had psychic powers and lifted the glass up and it smashed, would the government be like, excuse me, you're spreading disinformation, you get to go in prison now?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that is true. I just saw a recent episode, so I'm still watching this. So the last episode I watched was last night. It is not the latest episode, but it's the latest one that was available for free.
So you're on episode 5.
Yeah. And it was, oh my gosh. So they got people like sitting in cages on public display because they won't, either they're praying or even reading something like Akira. We actually see this a couple times. There's you see Akira as a manga and it's outlawed. People who read it would get in trouble.
So fiction
is outlawed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, and this is an interesting setting.
This is really interesting.
So the thing that I'm worried about is that they're trying to portray skeptical people as bad because obviously there is psychic energy, and anyone who would deny that is an idiot. But I don't know. I think it's playing more into the anti-government sentiment. The 2 people we saw in that clip were the other brothers who were put into stasis. I don't remember 2014, I think, And they thought they came out 15 years later, but it's actually 2041. So there's some time fuckery going on here. There's a girl that keeps showing up who tells them that the moments are being connected. It's really cryptic and stupid, but, you know, whatever. You gotta have some cryptic mystery in there. They keep
cryptics, yeah.
They keep showing this flashback of the two white-haired brothers being taken away, and that's supposed to be some sort of mystery. But they also show it at one point with these two. These are the other two brothers,
right?
The ones that work for the
these
SWE.
two have powers?
Yes. So as it turns out, that all the members of the SWE that we follow, there's 4 of them plus another woman who is not exactly part of their squad, but is helping out. They all have psychic powers. In fact, the 4 squad members were specifically chosen because they would awaken as psychics. So the SWE knows that psychics are real, tries to pretend they're not real. In fact, one of them
enforces on the populace the concept that they're not real.
Yes, while employing them themselves. There's a woman who actually, the woman I mentioned a minute ago, actually sets up another guy named Miracle Mick, who has no powers, but they use him to influence people into joining him as a cult, and then they arrest all the people. So, you know, the government's really corrupt in this. But they do a really good job. They don't just tell you, compared to the other one that I watched, which has some similarities to this, they don't just tell you, there's a conspiracy. They play it out for you. It's so much better.
Yeah.
So, how well
Sounds
does the
impressive.
3D work on this?
Well, I mean, most of the populace is, as you saw in that video, most of the populace is pretty much on board with the idea, but there's also a resistance.
He meant the animation.
I'm talking about the 3D animation.
Oh, you saw a relatively decent clip of it
good.
there.
Yeah.
There was a show recently this year, something Arm.
Some of them are pretty jerky.
Really jank.
Yeah.
Is it X-Arm or something like that?
X-Arm. Apparently that has awful
It's
CG animation.
There's actually another clip that I have that's a slightly more action-oriented one.
Oh, let's have a look. Let's have a look at some action then.
It also shows a little bit of the...
Definitely more exciting than my endless meetings in gazebos, having a tea while having a meeting, and then I'm in my ice palace, introducing characters. Let's have a meeting. Whoa. It's not the best CG in the world.
It's not super smooth, but it's not bad.
Yeah, but you got to have a trade-off, don't you?
Ooh, why is that playing?
You're gonna have a bit of a trade-off between these things. For
yeah.
Are we by the way, just check it. I'm just going to check. Are we actually audioed up or not?
Yeah, we're audioed up.
So we missed the first one. Just checking. Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
So that was a boy that they arrested earlier. And because of the stress of the situation, his powers like skyrocketing, and so he was able to take over other members and use them against the SWE. Pretty cool scene.
Interesting.
I'm sold.
I'm sold. I think I'll be watching that.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
I plan to continue watching it myself. It's really good. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. Hang on, let me just check my notes because there were a couple of cons. Oh, they keep reusing the same flashback. Yeah, that was supposed to be like a surprise. But when it finally culminates in episode 3, it's really not.
Do they add a little bit each time you see the flashback?
Nope,
or
not a bit.
Oh, well, that's a bit lazy.
Not a single bit, and I see it at least once every episode so far. And the main characters are a little bland, but that's about it. Yeah, a little bit bland.
There's something about that. It's like I do hate that sometimes in the modern setting for a lot of media, they always they have to feel like they have to either subvert your expectations or these characters have to be really exciting and unique. It's like sometimes you just want a story. Sometimes your characters just have to help work the plot. They don't have to be super special or anything, they're just functional characters.
Yeah.
That's cool. Right, let's move on. Next one from Xeno. How many more he's got to do?
Yeah, so this next one is called The Idaten Deities Know Only Peace. I very much don't understand this show, right? It's a mapper show. So, Mappa are a really big studio that are known for like some of the Dororo. If anyone's seen that one, that was a retelling of an anime that was made like in the 1970s. So again, that was amazing. Jujutsu Kaisen, that's a massive one. If Loz, I'm sure you've heard of Jujutsu Kaisen, just maybe not watched it.
Yeah, I think so.
They've done Attack on Titan, the final season.
Wow.
They've done Rage of Bahamut, Genesis, and Virgin Soul.
Oh wow, I remember that.
Yeah,
good.
they also did God of High School and Dorohedoro, right? Which is another fairly famous one. It's the guy with the lizard head. It's all like 3D and everything. But like, so Mappa are like really known for doing amazing shows. But I've got to be honest, this one I don't get, right?
So explain the setting to us.
The setting,
where are we?
The setting is 300 years after the end of a war between the gods and the demons. So the gods sacrificed themselves, all but one. The girl there with her arms in her sleeves. Yeah. So all of the gods, apart from her, sacrificed themselves to seal the demons away, right? And she was given a warning. Yeah, like you do. She was given a warning that the demons will return. Now, she was a massive scaredy cat back when the war was happening, but she's massively trained up, and she's like, you know, she's hard as nails, right? She's harder than nails. She's harder than nails is nails, right? But the gods seem to come out of just pure existence. So the belief in gods kind of makes them very much a Terry Pratchett kind of thing. So
is there new gods appearing all the time?
Yes. So the two that you see here, so the boy that's standing over the girl that's like collapsed, they are both also gods, but they are much younger than the
so
one.
She's from like the old batch of gods, and all but her got sacrificed, but new gods are appearing. So we do have normal people as well, I assume.
Yes, we have normal humans as well.
Yeah.
And we also have like these human demon hybrids.
Oh,
right?
But I thought we sealed away all the demons.
Well, that's a question. Like, so we don't know where these human demon hybrids have come from. Right?
But we know the answer is sexy.
Probably, you know. But anyway, but yeah, so it's like, it feels very much like a tournament show without a stage, right? So this screenshot here, so this clip here, this whatever screenshot. This is one of the demon humans, hybrids. Right? Yeah, the demon hybrids, and she is throwing a tank at the enemy forces. Yeah. So she's throwing a tank. I think it's one of her tanks. So it's like her tank gets destroyed, so she grabs it and uses it as artillery herself.
Right. So these hybrids, are they as strong as the god girl we've got there?
No.
Right. So she's really powerful. She took her 10,000 years of being by herself to train up, to challenge the Saiyans when they arrive.
Yeah. Well, she's also been training up two of the others. So the boy there that's standing over the girl, and another deity that I don't have a screenshot of. But
so it's all okay. I have to speak with you. So where's you said you didn't understand this. What seems pretty cool so far? I'm pretty sold by it. So what's the...
It's 5 episodes. I've described everything. I don't know. Yeah, it's so it does feel a bit...
But do they like have meetings in gazebos?
No, that's the good news. They don't.
Do they yell while they power up?
No.
Oh.
Right. So, but it's like, it feels very much the sort of like, I'm playing 4D chess. I'm trying to work. Oh, you do actually have the meeting right there. That's a meeting. That's all the demons. That's a bunch of demons. They're all having a meeting. But
demons or demon hybrids?
Hybrids. Sorry. The demons are like massively gribbly, right? So if it's human looking, it's a hybrid. So
or a god.
Well, they got off lucky.
Or a god. Yeah, right. But it's just like, I'm not sure what's going on in terms of the narrative. I don't know where they're going. It's like, Okay, so you know when you watch a mystery show like NCIS or CSI,
A
right?
cop show, yeah. There's a
Cop
murder
show.
victim, and so we have
a
to start.
procedural.
Now,
Yeah,
typically, you know the characters that are at fault, like, quite early on in the show. It might not necessarily be at the very start of the episode, but you are given enough hints, like a good halfway through the show, that if you're really, you could work out what's happened, right?
Sometimes, yeah. Or at least
Sometimes.
you have been introduced to the character, and there might be a misdirection. You think it's this person, but it's actually
Yes.
this person. But
Yes.
you are introduced to the titular villain of this week, yeah.
Or if it's Scooby-Doo, you're introduced immediately, and then they're exactly like, oh wow, we pulled up next to this thing, and this one person gave us a warning. They're the bad guy. Let's arrest them now. Let's save.
Yes, we went to a abandoned theme park, and the only person remaining is Old Man Benson, who's been looking after it for the last 20 years. Oh my God, it was Old Man Benson.
But the big thing with this is there's always new bits of information. Like, they only announced that the demons were actually demon-human hybrids in the last episode. So there's always new bits being added on, and as a result, I have no idea where the fuck it's going. So I am going to keep watching this. It feels weird that Mappa have taken this project on, as it is such a wild mystery of what the fuck is going on, especially considering their past works.
So now that you're halfway through the season, do you think the mystery is being handled well and you're being fed just enough, or do you feel it's being handled poorly and each week you're just being thrown through a loop as the new information is just not fitting in with the past information and completely overriding what you learned before?
The latter. I feel like it's just too much like, what the hell's going on, right? I need more of a firm foundation before I can actually fully make a decision on what the fuck is going on.
So what you're saying is you want to be building a jigsaw puzzle, and you want to have your corners set, and you want to start building that bit of sky in the top left. But what actually happens is every episode somebody comes in and gives you a completely different piece that for some reason you thought you were building a lovely scenic picture of a jungle, and all of a sudden they hand you this bit of, I don't know, a plane. A skyscraper, yeah. Or sewer. Yeah. It's like, here's a sewer tile. You're like, I'm building a jungle. Are you though?
I think that's a brilliant way of describing it. I am going to keep watching it. I have a suspicion that this is going to be a 26 episode or 24 episode series, because just the pace it's got, it feels too slow. But if it ends in 12 episodes, they really need to actually start getting to the point soon.
Well, maybe it's going to be a season 1, season 2, season 1 cliffhanger thing. All right, what's next?
Yeah, how many have you got, Loz?
I got one, and I want to say I want to be last because it's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
that's my last one.
Right, Nasuth.
I guess we'll do Sonny Boy next, since that was the last original one I watched.
Sure.
So Zeno and I both watched this.
Wow.
It's actually kind of strange. It's a little hard to explain. I guess you could say it's an isekai, kind of. I think it's less of one because they're not transported into like a populated world.
Word for a start.
Yeah. It's so the first episode they're in this. The school is transported into this void, this just complete blackness, and we find out that a lot of the kids here, like right here, you can see some of them have like special powers. The first clip I was going to use, which unfortunately I couldn't, had both it covered both some of the power and the rule of. So each world seems to have a rule when they get into it, and the rule of the void was if you broke the rules of whoever the leader was, you had to have a penalty.
Yeah.
And even the leader wasn't exempt. So somebody else, if he broke a rule, somebody else could put a penalty on him. And but then how to explain this?
So one of the important facts is that there seems to be a new girl who doesn't wear the uniform of everything else. You can see her here looking down at. So she seems to be constantly pushing the envelope. She's constantly trying to explore the boundaries of reality, so on and so forth. And
Is this the same girl?
No, it's a different one.
She's actually wearing the school uniform. So I don't know if Nasuth has any pictures of the girl in question, but she has like a light blue t-shirt kind of thing. And she ends up causing things to happen, which basically forces them into other worlds.
Yeah.
And that's they start exploring other worlds, other things going on.
So this would be one of those other worlds, yeah?
Yes. So at the end of the first episode, she can see this light and in the sky, and she doesn't know exactly what it is, but she has a sense that they need to get to it. And right when there's this huge conflict going on with the other students, I mean, one of them even gets his head like halfway bashed in with a baseball bat.
Wow.
It's kind of cool. So she takes a running leap off the edge of the building. Oh, that's her. That's a really good picture of her right there.
Yeah.
She takes a running leap off the edge of the building to try and get to the light, and the other main character, the boy, tries to catch her and stop her, and they both end up plummeting down into the void. And just when it looks like they're gonna, everything's fucked, the blackness disappears, and they're in this world with a giant island in the middle of an ocean.
The school, the school that they were in, actually gets transported as well.
Yes. Yeah. There's a picture of them right there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of exploration. This one feels very much like the Idaten Deities Only No Peace, but they are establishing the laws of the world.
Yeah.
Very quickly, which is good.
Right.
So
yeah. So in the second episode, they established that you can't steal or borrow a thing. Well, I guess borrow.
You can't be given it either.
You can't be given it. You can borrow it, but only for a short time. You can't be given it, and you can't steal it. If you do any of those, then it lights on fire. And they actually burn down the entire island in the second episode. That's actually one of the points I had against it. They almost feel like there are no stakes, because they burn down the entire island in the second episode, and then the dawn comes, and it's normal. It's just fine.
Have you not seen the latest episode?
I've seen up through episode 4, which was really weird, but I liked it.
Episode 5 kind of explains the latest episode. I think it's 5, maybe 6. I'm not sure. Explains what you're referring to. So that is not actually the con you think it is.
Okay. All right.
Stakes. So there are stakes. So obviously
there are stakes.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Cool. Does look like an interesting watch.
One thing I will say, one thing I really like about the show is the characters. They do feel like human characters. They do feel like people would react in this way. Like the leader of the Void World, he actually does let the power go to his head.
Yeah.
Right. He starts like, because he's a kid, right? He's gonna start thinking like, I'm infallible. I make the rules. You obey the rules, right? And like, I haven't broken the rules. Yeah, you have. I say you have. So it feels possible. Like, how these characters interact with each other, again, feels more realistic than, I don't know, a guy that decides he's going to have 2 girlfriends and then cause the entire audience space to get fucking whiplash. So, but the one.
No, sorry, not just two girlfriends. They'll live with me. They'll be fine with that.
Yep.
And then a third.
Oh god, the first episode, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, but
I love that image.
That's right before they disappeared. They commented that a storm was rolling in.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say that I really don't like about this series, that normally you have the the beach episode or the hot springs episode. You have tropey episodes, right? There has been an increase in baseball episodes in anime. Like Dorohedoro actually has a baseball episode. This also has a this show's baseball episode makes no fucking sense.
Did you notice that the story he was describing sounded a lot like Dragon Ball Z?
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Dragon Ball
actually.
Super.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I haven't seen Dragon Ball Super. Sorry,
Ah,
but
yes.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, they
but
was telling a story about baseball monkeys, and they're talking about like the blue-haired one and how he kept trying to be stronger. And yeah, it was
yeah. So ignore the baseball episode. I swear, love of God. Right. So I think
it
that's
does.
it.
It does seem to
for-
kind of start. My other problem with it is that it does kind of start to seem focusing a little more on the interpersonal drama than the weirdness, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it is a shift in, like, if you go into the episode 1 and you're expecting all that weirdness, it does kind of taper off a little bit.
Right. Are we good for me to jump on to the next one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool. This show, Bokutachi no Remake, or Remake Our Lives. This is my favorite show of this season. This is honestly, if you're only gonna watch one thing, I would highly recommend this one. I don't know if either of you got to it.
I
did mean to watch episode 1 because I remember you saying it's a feature-length episode. I didn't manage to watch it before today, but it's definitely. I've taken your high praise for it, and it is definitely going to be watched.
So the whole premise.
Explain me the setting.
I'm trying.
When are we?
When are we? Right. So the whole premise of the show, I think it's set in 2016 initially.
Right.
This the lead protagonist, he is working in a gaming industry. He is trying to sort out his life and everything, and he's lost his job. So he's going back home. He's going back to his parents, and he's trying to get his life back on track. And then he's trying for job interview after job interview, and he always wished that he could be what's classified as one of the platinum people. So these are like his generation of famous creators. So like, Hideo Kojima, oh god, is it Tom Howard, the Bethesda guy?
Todd Howard.
Todd Howard, sorry, yes. Maybe John Carmack. These people that their names are like so prominent, right?
In the field of game design.
Just creation. So like, some of them might be artists, some of them might be singers.
So we might also be like, that we mean like a Steven Spielberg or a George Lucas.
Exactly, right? But he wanted, so he's been trying to get into games development for the longest time ever, and he keeps on going to interviews. So he's failed his first company collapsed, and he went home, and then he's trying to find an interview for a job, sort of thing, and he ends up landing a job because this woman looks like she's about to commit suicide. He misunderstands the situation. He ends up being her, and like to apologize for rugby tackling her off the side of a bridge, right? He takes her out for food and things, and she says like she's trying, like, why does it look like I was going to commit suicide? Well, you just had that expression of hopelessness on your face, and and she basically says, well, I'm trying to find someone that can insert list of tasks. I'm trying to find someone that can fit this role. And he goes, well, I can do those things. He ends up getting hired by the Dream Studio. Let's call them, I don't know, Activision Blizzard, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
right.
Yeah. Ooh, spicy.
I'm not right. So the whole point is that
big name studio, big name,
big, right? But so they're working on a project, and it's supposed to be I think it's the 25th anniversary of one of their games. So they're doing a remake of
Warcraft. So I'm kidding,
right? So they're doing a remake of it, and just before his 6-month probation is up, the company cans the project, and he defaults and loses the job. Right?
It's not his fault. Why is it his fault?
No, but like, they had no position for him. They killed the position.
Oh, right.
So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, so how close were they to releasing this remade game?
I don't think they were that close to the remake of the game, but the problem was that it was he was still in his probation period.
Right. Okay. Oh, so it wasn't literally about to be released or anything. It wasn't. Yeah.
No. So
that
would make sense.
He has job. They can job. They have project. They hire him for project. They close project. Thus, he gets dropped by company. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So he goes home. He's still missing. Like he wishes he was one of these.
I just want to point out that almost feels like you could remove that whole section and just continue the show. Was that even necessary?
Kind of. Right. Okay. So he
was already on his way home before that happened.
Well, the thing is that the woman that interviews him and gives him the job actually is where he ends up as when he goes back in time.
Okay, so we were heading home because we've absolutely failed at our jobs.
Yeah, so and then he's reflecting on wishing that he's part of the Platinum people. Turns out all the Platinum people went to the same university, right?
Right.
He was given an opportunity to go to that university
in his past.
Right? In his past, 10 years ago, he could have but he decided to go for the more stable career path, not the risky artsy university, right? So he's all miserable, he's all super depressed and everything. He's back home, he wakes up, it's 10 years in the past, it's 2006. His flat screen monitor has turned into a CRT. Most of his books on his bookshelves disappeared, loads of things. So he's gone back 10 years. And it's back to the point where he can choose whether or not to go to the stable university or the artsy-fartsy one. And he chooses to go to the artsy-fartsy one. That's as far as I'm going to tell you. That's the first third of the first episode, right?
Okay, and that's the leading on from there. Okay.
Honestly,
so is there any other, apart from that going back in time, do we have any other mystical elements, or is that just the one thing and it's just exploring his now change of choice?
It's just exploring his now change of choice, how he interacts with the other characters, the knowledge he has from the future, and he brings it to the past, how that impacts things. Now, I think it's fairly obvious, right? He's going to encounter the Platinum people.
Yeah.
Right? As they are growing and becoming, as they go through university and things. Right? Of course, they're on screen right now. Right?
And he influences all of them.
But the one thing I really want to know is how does he, now being there, actually impact their life?
Mm-hmm.
Does suddenly, when they finish university, maybe they don't become Platinum people anymore. Maybe his influence has changed because you can see already that the way they do things is different.
Yeah, it's the butterfly effect. Yeah, so he's changed time. Are we going to have a bit of a depressing thing where he's now going to be successful, but one of the Platinum people opportunities been removed because he went to this university now? So yeah, okay. So we're 6 episodes in. Let's assume it's 12 episodes. How are you feeling about it then so far?
I love it. Fucking
loving it. Still good?
Yeah. I was so really sad when this week was this week was a recap episode, right? Yeah. Oh, give me more. So I love
another episode we will have at some point in the future. Yeah, another episode we'll probably do in the future. How to do and not do a recap episode. We'll have to do that one.
It's your show, Kill or Kill. You're doing it right.
Yeah, the answer is just don't.
Right.
Well, so high praise on that one. I assume me and Nasuth are going to have to at least start watching that first episode. So the first episode's feature length, I think you said.
Yeah, it's an hour long.
Long, right? So we're going to have to watch that, Nasuth, see what we think.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on.
I'm very intrigued by the prospect.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I've got 1, 2, 3. I should have put these in order. I think I've got 3 left.
A few. Okay.
I think I've got 3 left.
All right. Well, let's try and. They all have good, bad. Let's just try and go through.
It's a mix. Okay. It's a mix. So, right. This one, right? This is Peach Boy Riverside.
Okay.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. I did not like this series. I dropped it after 4 episodes. It's really slow to make any progress in the narrative whatsoever. like, so this princess, the blonde girl in this scene, that's sort of like
slightly covered by Nasuth.
Yeah, she is trying to
I'm just her
down. She's trying to hunt down this demon slayer called Mikoto, right? I have no idea what the princess's name is, right? Like, you see her, she's utterly destroying this demon right here.
That's
this
the princess.
walrus demon. That's the princess. You would have thought from this image alone, it would look badass and awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's the only time it happens.
Also, why does she need a demon slayer if she can do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's another question. I don't fucking know.
Right.
And like, so 3 episodes, she's hunting this character down. The 4th episode goes into a flashback.
No.
Yeah?
No.
I fucking hate it when shows do this, because all the flashback episode does is show you the introduction of when the princess and the demon slayer first encounter each other. And then she decides, I want to chase after the demon slayer. Like, seriously, I just fucking nauseating bullshit. There's no motivation to do anything. I don't understand.
Me no understand.
Me no
Okay.
understand. So,
Right, well, so that one seems a bit of a, especially
No.
if you say you dropped after 4 episodes. That's a no.
that's
So
it.
let's not linger on that one then.
That
Oh,
was a-
before actually, what was the
Should we
Easter
do-
Bunny about?
Oh yeah, the
she's-
bunny.
she's a bunny girl.
That's
They
it.
just have bunny girls there.
They don't, like, so they I think, again, she's the only one that we encounter, right?
There we
She
go.
doesn't have the same level of intelligence as other basically she's like a demi-human sort of thing. She's like a beast human sort of thing.
Right.
But so you have demons, which you see a few of. You have humans, which you see a metric shit ton of, and this one bunny girl, right? I don't
Seems
know.
a bit out of place.
Nothing's
That's the only one.
explained.
Like,
Okay.
there's people in
all
there,
right.
and oh, it's just bunny girl. It's
But
fucking bunny
It
girl.
seems
All
like
I
they
know
didn't put
is-
any thought into anything. They just said we want to do this,
So
and they just
don't
slapped
know
a
if
bunch
you
of shit
know-
together.
There is a Japanese folklore tale of this I really can't remember the details, but basically this elderly couple, they want a baby, and they end up getting this baby from inside a peach, right? So it's like this,
You know what you should
Okay.
do? You just
yeah,
picking
just as you
peaches
do,
one day,
right? So like there was this baby
baby.
inside a peach, and the baby, I think, ends up fighting like ogres and things like that.
Well,
that-
babies born from peaches do have a habit of fighting ogres.
Yeah, clearly. But so that, I think, is the general premise for like, so that is the narrative behind the Demon Slayer, but no other character has any motivation, and it's just dumb.
Let's talk about another one that's dumb but also fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jahy.
Well, but can I just say, at least they're not having meeting things.
No, she's trying to chase after her wandering gazebo.
tilting at gazebos.
So what do we have here? What is this? That looks
Right.
fun.
So this one's kind of a weird. It's a comedy, first off, but it's kind of weird.
Just to give the name beforehand.
Oh, yes.
The great Jahy will not be defeated.
Yes.
Okay.
So it does have the trope of, you know, this 1,000-year-old demon ruler who's trapped in the body of a little girl 12 hours out of the day or whatever. But she.
What happens for the other hours of the day?
She got an angel starts out in the demon realm with her
Yes.
ruling. An angel comes in, destroys her mana crystal, and in so doing ejects everyone into the real world and destroys the demon realm or the dark realm or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so she's got a single mana crystal left, and that's what lets her change into her adult form once a day. And
For a
while
very limited
she's-
time.
for like just long enough to go to work and make money that she can take home and try not to spend. Sorry, just give me 1 second real quick.
You want to pause? Oh, Nasuth's mic's muted.
Probably,
Yes,
probably,
sorry, I just needed to clear my throat.
Okay, fine.
I was going to say he's probably doing something.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so full of like comedy and warmth. She keeps like the first time that the shop owner sees her in her small form, she's just like, "Oh, okay, this is you now." Gives her a fucking raise.
And that what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Right.
And even though she tries to be all tough and mean and everything, she just keeps like breaking down and crying at how nice people are being to her.
Oh.
Um.
So I see on this image, this girl on the left, although I see some pointy little ears in there.
Yes, that is one of the other Dark Realm followers that.
Right.
Despite being like a completely masochistic person who loved having Jahy make fun of her and call her names and just beat up on her, she's done way better in the human realm than Jahy and has collected huge lumps of mana crystal, lives in a beautiful apartment, has an amazing job, can just buy diamonds whenever she wants. Jahy lives in a rundown little like 2-room apartment above a restaurant. She's constantly trying to get out of paying rent. I mean, there's no air conditioning. She's just suffering. It's amazing.
I noticed you said there getting mana crystal from Earth, or
yes, all the mana crystal. That's her original form.
Adult form.
So she can only maintain this for a few hours a day.
Yeah.
Right. But you said about getting crystal from Earth, but so this lady here lost all her crystals, and that's why she only got one left. Let's do that once a day. Whereas this other character has been able to get crystals from Earth. You said?
So when they all got sent to Earth, all the mana crystal shards did too.
Right.
So she's trying to collect them all so she can remake the Dark Realm.
Right.
But she hasn't done any of that in like however long she's been here.
And all she's managed to do is have a pretty bum job, live in a tiny little apartment, right? That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So she's managed to actually collect one like fist-sized mana crystal, and it allows her to stay in her adult form for longer. But as Nasuth said, the underling has managed to just find shit tons of mana, like parts of the mana crystal, like what the hell. But the big thing about Jahy, so first off, in this image, on the right hand side of the image, we have the owner of the pub that Jahy works at.
Right.
Behind her, you can't really see her, unfortunately.
I see two characters and a dog.
Right. I don't know who the character in the stockings is, because they haven't been introduced yet. But the character in the orange top, right?
Yeah, blonde hair. Yep.
Yeah, she is the landlady of Jahy's apartment,
but also the sister of the pub owner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So Jahy is constantly trying not to pay rent.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And I'm not going to pay you rent. It's like, no, you're going to pay me rent. And they're constantly in fights and things. So the big thing is that this series has only had 3 episodes. It started at the beginning of August. I don't know why it was late, but
but it's already amazing.
It is great. My concern though is that it may end up repeating the jokes too often. So one thing, it's just 2 episodes, but Jahy keeps on bigging up her adventures to her subordinate, like constantly. And I hope that's not going to be the same case for like the entire, like, could you change the joke a little bit? I mean, the other thing I will say is the 3rd episode felt really flat for me, because again, it was just repeating the same stuff. Apart from after the credits, they had this mini little it was just this little scene sort of thing where they had Jahy play a space pirate, and the landlady was another space pirate trying to get rent for Jahy's spaceship. And had I not left it on to, just I can't be bothered to turn it off, I would have missed that scene entirely.
Well, that's the tricky thing. Yeah, with those.
Yeah. I felt that, but I'm totally sticking with Jahy for now. I hope that
it breaks the formula.
Yeah, it breaks the formula.
But so far, I mean, it's early days for it. I mean, 3 episodes
Yeah.
is very limited, and obviously maybe they'll, the plot will expand and maybe more things will happen. But that's still pretty good for 3 episodes, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Should we move on to the next one? That seems like another pretty good looking show.
Cool. I should have actually crossed out what I think I've only got 2.
I think that's about right.
Left. Okay, how many have you got, Nasuth?
Just the one.
Okay, cool. So the next one I'm gonna talk about real quickly, going back to the UI, is this one, which is called The Case Study of Vanitas, right? And effectively, it's set in I want to say it's post-industrial revolution France, in Paris.
Interesting.
But it has a bit of a fantasy element because they have floating, like zeppelins and things. But these things are like massive. It's for like intercontinental transport, but they're freaking massive. Loads of glass and things. And it's just like, how the hell does this thing work? So
Massive Zeppelin.
Huh?
Massive Zeppelin.
No. Like the fact that it doesn't seem to have a balloon.
Oh.
Right. So it's got like a fantasy element to it. I mean, it's about vampires as well. So, but I just don't. Yeah. So it doesn't really go into the
Runs
detail
on
of how. Sure. Final Fantasy VII reference in there, but yeah, it's a really interesting series. The idea is that vampires are born under the red moon. However, occasionally a vampire can be born under the blue moon, right? And there was one vampire that was born under the blue moon, and he is considered like massively cursed. His name was Vanitas, right? The Vanitas that we have in the series is actually not the same one. This one is actually a human who inherited the name from the original, along with his grimoire. And his grimoire is supposed to destroy vampires, just utterly annihilate them. So it's basically a weapon of mass destruction for vampires. But the whole point of the human Vanitas is he's trying to utilize it to save vampires. There's a condition called being a curse bearer in the vampiredom, right? And as a result, they lose self-control. They can become more rabid, more feral. Like they become the
Animalistic.
They become hollows.
No. There's a term I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. It's from Blood, the Last Vampire, where they have like they've got more batch features than anything else, right? So long. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway. So they become like that. He is trying to save them, and he can do that with their true name. Yeah, I do recommend this series. It is pretty damn cool. It's I think it's got 5 or 6 episodes out right now. Maybe actually 7. I think it's actually got 7 because I think this was one of the first anime that came out this season. Yeah, it's a really, really good series. It's
couple of questions.
Yeah.
So it doesn't use the regular vampire tropes. It doesn't seem like. Can they go out in sunlight and things like crosses and garlic affect them?
No, I don't think they affect
Not
them.
that you've seen. I like that. I like that they're not using the normal vampire tropes.
They do drink blood. So the guy on the left is Noel. I think it's Noel. He is a special breed of vampire that can actually experience the memories of anyone else if they drink their blood.
Oh,
well, in some tropes, that's just a generic vampire trait, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fine.
This is specific to like his lineage.
Right. Okay.
Right. So not everyone has this. I know that was in the Underworld movies and things like that. But yeah, he can experience but none of the other cast can currently experience this. The vampires don't have a way of dealing with the curse bearers, but Vanitas does.
Okay.
The vampires just end up killing each other to stop curse bearers, because once a curse bearer bites you, you become cursed yourself.
Ah,
Even human?
delightful.
Or do you mean other vampires?
Other vampires, right? But there's also like another world which a lot of the series has thus far been set in, where it's sort of like an alternative plane of existence for the vampires in Paris. Does that make sense? So there's one world which is our world. There's like the
Do you mean like
plane.
a dimensional, a realm or a plane?
Yeah,
literally another dimension. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of it is situated. So, that might be a reason why. Oh, they don't seem to be catching fire in sunlight. That could be part of the reason.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be. There's no focus on that whatsoever. But the big thing is Vanitas, because he is A, human, and B, part of the Blue Moon clan, right? He because he was adopted into it. Everyone apart from Noel hates his guts.
Huh.
All the vampires or humans as well?
No, all the vampires. There's like
vampires.
He's the only human cast member. Like everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you still see humans in the background and things like that.
Yes, in the mortal plane. So
Okay.
yeah, it's really good. I actually really enjoyed
Sounds
it.
interesting. Nice
Yeah,
twist
it
on
does.
vampire
It does.
stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Nasuth.
Gosh, I don't even remember the name of this one. I'm sorry, but it's right up there for us. Oh, right, battle after meeting in 5 seconds, or battle in 5 seconds after meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, this one. So it's got the battle royale tropes where I think Danganronpa did this too, where they collect a bunch of people, put them together, and say now kill each other essentially.
Yep.
This woman right here on the left is in charge. She's imagine a Cheshire cat but personified. That's her.
You're not wrong. That's actually a really good description of her.
This is our main character, our main male lead. I don't like him, honestly. I feel like he's way too bland. Way too fucking bland. But I love this show. Don't get me wrong, I love this show. I love that his power makes him have to be... he has to actually think about what he's doing and try to get other characters into a situation where it'll work out.
Sorry, powers.
Oh,
Does
yes.
everyone have a power?
Sorry. The premise is that this group of people has been brought here to test skills, magic items, weapons, powers. So they've all been given these powers by Cat Lady or whoever. So there's a girl who can increase her strength by 5 times, all her physical attributes by 5 times. There's a guy who can turn buttons into ropes. There's a guy that can turn, which is really not useful. There's a guy that can turn a stick into a sword, etc., etc. This guy's power is that his power is whatever he can convince his enemy his power is.
Oh,
yeah. And so in the first episode, he uses it to recreate Catgirl's arm cannon thing. Which is it's really good. I love that. I love that. Even if I don't like him, I love that premise.
The only thing, I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm invested. Mm-hmm. I do feel that the show is a bit slow. So this kid is supposed to be like a master strategist, right?
He's got big gamer energy.
He's got big gamer energy. He's got big PP, right? But the show feels a bit slow, right? There's very much a lot of I am thinking, I am posing, pose. And it feels like you blink and you miss the episode.
Do they have meetings in gazebos?
They did have an episode, the 5-on-5 episode. They were sitting in a room for a while, talking.
Right. But the other side of it is, I really love the idea of my weapon, my power is whatever I can convince you my power is.
Yeah.
See, I do like that. So, yeah, obviously...
I like the powers in general so far.
Different ways he convinces them. Right.
But the problem I have with his power is all he is doing is convincing everyone he has an arm cannon.
Yeah. It's not so, but again, I haven't watched past whatever's free right now. So I think I've seen the 5x5 battle, although I don't think they've even finished that one yet.
Right.
Yeah, because they haven't gotten to his part yet.
Right.
Is he going to do that in the future? Are there going to be more one-on-one battles where he can tell this person, "Oh, my power is actually this"? You know, I don't.
I don't know where the direction of the show is going. I'm definitely going to keep on watching it, but it feels like on occasion it's trying to make it harder and harder for him to be able to use anything apart from the arm cannon. So it's just like, well, what the fuck is the point in giving him the ability to use anything? Like, he doesn't have to psychologically trick his enemy into, oh, I have an arm cannon. All he has to do is just stand next to one of his allies, make them think he's using the arm cannon, think that they are an enemy, and then he's just, oh, there he is. There's the arm cannon. It's
Maybe.
Like, the trick is gone.
He has to justify to himself that they are an enemy, which I think he could do. He could probably manage that.
Yeah.
Well,
are we losing Loz?
Oh.
Should we pause quick?
Yeah.
How many episodes in?
Oh, wait.
Are we losing me?
Nope, you're back.
Nope, you're back.
You're good.
I think you're back.
Or not?
I think, yeah, well, it might go up and down. Who knows if it starts doing this again? No, do we, what was I asking?
How many episodes?
We're 6 episodes in, yeah?
I'm just gonna.
Are we that far in?
Check. Yeah, but from the sounds of it, Nasuth, you're only 3 episodes in. No, we're 5 episodes in right now.
Wow,
Hopefully,
okay.
maybe they'll come up with the enemy will be. Maybe if the enemy actually finds out what his power is, and then it's really hard to convince him elsewise, or maybe that an enemy which is immune to arm cannons, then what do they do? So hopefully maybe something like that will happen in the next few episodes.
Hopefully.
See, if he's smart, what he'll do, there's a girl in episode 3 whose power was to copy other people's power. If he's really smart, he'll convince people that's what his power is, and then he can just use whatever. But
yeah.
Well,
what's the limitations on the copy girl's powers?
It's at 1/20th the strength?
I thought it was 1/10th.
Something like that. It's really small.
Yeah, so she briefly uses it against a guy that has invulnerability for 10 seconds, but she only had it for 2 seconds.
Something like that, yeah. It was, yeah.
If he convinces an opponent that he's God, does it become God?
That could work in theory.
I just have to convince one person that I am God, and thus
my power is the ability to do whatever God does.
Yeah, after I see that I have evolved into my omnipotent God form, all my opponents will believe that I am God. Thus, I become God.
Yeah. Well, it's weird though, because if he ever tells them the truth that my power, if he gets teammates and says to them, right, my power is whatever my opponent thinks it is, then instantly his power becomes useless.
Yeah. Well, he even made that point in the 5-on-5 episode. Do I tell them what my power really is, or do I tell them it's the arm cannon?
Well, the thing, no, but it doesn't elaborate that, because if he told them, because they basically said, well, what if I fight them again in the future?
Yeah.
Right? It'd be, but the whole point is that it just becomes utterly useless, because they don't think like, oh yeah, my power is, to tickle you with feathers or to turn you into poo-poo. It's just like, yeah, well, I know exactly what your power is. I can't think of anything else. So
yeah,
it becomes useless.
Well,
So
it does sound like an interesting premise, but you're going to have to see how it plays out in the next few episodes.
Yeah.
Cool. My last one, right? I think this is my last one, otherwise I've missed one, right? Is this show. It's an isekai!
Oh, who could have guessed?
Tsukimichi. Yeah, no, I got it right. Moonlit Fantasy, right?
Okay.
A generic isekai. Doesn't get murdered by. I know one of them. One of the isekais.
The migratory buses. Sorry, the migratory lorries of Japan.
But there's one isekai where the guy is on a bus and the bus gets hit by a truck. I can't remember which isekai it is, right?
Okay.
I've just seen clips of it like gajillions of times. It's like, yeah, this is how we isekai. You try to get away from, we get train kun, right? But like, so basically, this protagonist's parents were originally from another world, and they had moved to our world. But the condition for them to migrate was, they would have to offer up one of their kids to come back to be a chosen warrior.
Okay.
So he gets pulled into...
Just before you do that, so that they're in our world, what's the world like they came from? Is it a fantasy setting?
Generic
fantasy.
Generic.
Okay, cool.
Generic.
So he's fulfilling the contract of return because they came to our world, because I assume they didn't want to battle with monsters. He has to go back, right? Okay.
So he has to go back because if he doesn't go back, it has to be one of his sisters, right?
How many sisters does he have?
2.
Okay.
Right, one older, one younger. Right,
and he wants to protect them, so he goes back.
Right.
The call to adventure. Right, let's go.
So he gets summoned by this goddess of the moon from the fantasy world, and she basically laughs at him because he is, quote, I quote, too ugly, right? And she basically she gives him a useless power and throws him to the edge of the world where it's just where all the monsters live. So basically his power is he can communicate with anyone apart from, so he can speak any language apart from common, right? And it's actually called common, right? So he can't communicate with any humans, right? But so you can see the goddess there. She's the one with her fringe covering her eyes, right?
Right, the blonde, yep.
The blonde, right? But the god from our world, the moon god from our world, I don't really know his lore at all. I think he's established in Japan.
Long flowing white hair character.
Yeah, he basically gives...
Oh, it's a boy. Okay, all right.
He gives our protagonist, right? He gives our protagonist...
Yep.
superhuman strength and super immeasurable power. He's an OP character, right?
Right.
Like ugly generic character.
Yeah, I'm looking at him and I'm like, really?
So ugly,
I mean,
so
they
ugly.
could draw
Jeez.
ugly characters. He does not look ugly. Okay.
He doesn't, does he?
He's generic. He's very generic.
Like,
he doesn't have any pretty boy features or ugly features.
If she turned around and said, like, no, you're just too generic, right? That's fine, right? But like, anyway, maybe I'm relating too much with this character. But the whole point is he becomes like, your generic isekai, I'm super OP character, blah blah blah. He makes friends with the monsters of the world and blah blah. He ends up making a contract with a giant dragon, right? Basically, oh god, what was the dragon from Dragon Ball Z?
Shenron?
Shenron. Yes. Shenron.
Shenlong or Shenron?
Whichever. I maybe I'm too used to the English pronunciation. But, the dragon from... So that's the green-haired girl, like, down there being obscured by me, right? And he also makes a contract with this giant, constantly hungry black spider, who is the black-haired girl. So when he makes contracts with them, like, he is too OP that the contract the contract would normally go 50-50, but because he's too OP, it's 90% in his favor, so 10% there. So they have to do what he says, right? And that's how they adopted human features. Generic isekai, and then
so him going around forming contracts with monsters is anthropomorphizing them into humans.
Only these two. He only does it with these two.
Why? Okay. Yeah,
I know.
That's fine.
I know, right? But they become infatuated with our world. They are scanning his memories, and they become utterly infatuated with our world. Oh wait, no, he has another power. I can't remember what it is, but it can't be detected. Like he can, he's like, this guy's fucking OP as shit, right? He actually gets a Char Aznabel. Is that the character from Gundam?
That's Gundam.
He gets a Char mask because he is so OP. His sheer presence is too looming and scares the humans. They think he is a demon lord, right? So he has to use all these trinkets like rings and a mask to suppress his power so that the humans don't naturally run away in fear.
This is the kind of character that you write when you're in like 8th or 9th grade. Just no drawbacks and all power.
Yeah, just
all the girls love so him, and ugly.
He is super powerful.
No, that's girlfriend loss.
Look, as long as he doesn't decide to build a gazebo, it's fine with this isekai, right? Yeah. So what's his goal? What's he got to do on this planet? So his parents sent him back because he had to take their place. Does it just he just has to live there now, or can he go back after he achieves his goal? There's no demon lord to kill?
I know he's trying to go get revenge on the goddess, but I'm like, fuck knows how you're going to achieve this. Oh, he's basically... he's
already got all the power, so,
Yeah. One thing he is doing is he's collecting up, all the monster races and putting them in a pocket dimension that belongs to the dragon. So so since he is contracted with the dragon, the pocket dimension is no longer a void. It's like this bountiful, amazing world of awesomeness. And they're all coming to live there. So there's no monsters left. He's just like, yep, they're mine now.
Just fantastic.
I'm giving them a utopia. It's like it's weird. So I'm gonna keep watching it, but I just feel it's gonna fizzle out. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's all of mine, and we're just left with
Loz.
Yay!
It's all on your shoulders. The entire podcast makes it or breaks it right here.
We'll have another isekai.
Oh no! We're doomed.
We're doomed. But this one, that was very generic. The last one. So this is I liked at least the twist in this one. So I get the title right. My next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom. Right. So this is what's actually airing currently is the second season of this show. The first season was. So the first first series or first season? The first season or whatever was was in the spring season, and we're in the second part of it the second part of the show. But I'll just to reiterate the basic premise for you, a little bit of spoiler because we're on the second season of it. So we have an isekai where we start off with a little girl who's living a posh life and she's a bit of an arse. She then basically trips up and bashes her head. She then remembers that she actually was as you do. She has a little cross on her head, which I think you can see in that picture as a kid. She then remembers that she was actually a Japanese schoolgirl who was late for school one day and got killed by the migratory trucks. As she did. It literally comes out of nowhere as a truck, right? However, she has all her memories, and so she was a bit of a shut-in. She really only had one friend in her life, but as a school kid, she loved staying at home and playing. Is it otome the word? Otome or visual novel games. Yeah. And she actually realizes the world she's in was her favorite game. And the character she's playing is actually the antagonist to the main character. So there's several routes she could play through that game. Several of the arcs that the main heroine of the video game will interact with her character, and the outcomes for her character are either she gets killed or she gets exiled from the country. So the picture you've got there at the moment, the blonde girl is actually supposed to be the main character of the video game, and the brown-haired girl is the character she's reincarnated as. So she's just awoken as our isekai protagonist at the age of 6, with all this knowledge of most of the game. She didn't play. The thing is, she didn't play through all the routes either. She only knows, I think, 3 of them, and she doesn't know the others. And she realizes what character she is. She is the titular villain of the game. She then has to decide, well, I refuse to be killed or exiled. I will not. I will have a better ending. So she's supposed to be the villain, but obviously with all this knowledge, she can plan ahead. She starts doing things. And so the first season works at 2 steps. I think the first 3 episodes, she's actually, as a child, and doing things about it. And then the main part of where the video will be is when she goes to magic school. So the fantasy world itself, we don't get much world building, but people have magic, which are based on elements. The magic itself most of the magic doesn't have a particular point in the show. They don't. You got like one person who has earth magic and they can make like golems out of mud and things. The main character is also this, Katarina, I think, is the main character you see, the brown-haired girl. She has earth powers, but her magic is so weak, all she can do is make a little bump in the ground, which she uses just basically to knock people over. That's yeah. So her first goal when she wakes, she's a 6-year-old girl. She has the memories of like a 15-year-old Japanese girl who was an otaku who played a game. She's like, right, and I know how this will end. Her first thing is she decides she'll become a better swordsman and improve her magic.
Smart. I mean,
she then remembers. Yep, yeah. She then remembers what her grandmother said, and her grandmother, she's got earth magic. She's like, oh, how do I improve my earth magic? And her grandmother said, commune. She reads in a magic book saying you've got to commune with your element to become better at it. And then she remembers her grandmother saying that to commune with earth is to grow vegetables. So she is the character she's incarnated as is like equivalent to like a duchess or a princess. She's not a princess, but she sort of is at that level. And all of a sudden, she starts deciding, I'm going to dig up the gardens and start growing crops to improve my magic. Her mum doesn't like this very much. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. Her mum just keeps berating her. So,
I mean, parents don't like it when you dig up the garden anyway, ever.
No, yeah. So she starts interacting with other characters, obviously, which are all the characters from the game. So the blonde character, which pops up, is supposed to be the protagonist of the game, but she gets befriended at the end. But there's basically that female character would have, is it 4 roots? Yeah, 4 male characters, which are like the roots. If you've not played a Japanese visual novel, but normally there's different characters and different outcomes, and you follow the root of a character that's the character that they get together or whatever. 2 of them are princes. One of them is becomes the adopted brother of this character here, this brown-haired girl, and the other one is a duke's son who's just very rich. But as the show progresses, she is obsessed with believing she is going to be, because what happens is, so let's say that she gets engaged to one of the princes, but then the main protagonist falls in love with the prince, and in the end, they kill our main character, the brown-haired girl. Mm. So she wants to avoid that. She doesn't seem to realize, though, that quickly, being with all, being her random self and not this stuck-up girl that she's supposed to be the character of the game, everyone basically falls in love with her. everyone does, because she's so nice. She's so different. That everyone finds her to be this most unique character because they expect her to be this prissy, stuck-up girl, and yet she's farming and she's climbing trees and she's learning to sword fight for the fun of it.
That's really awesome.
But okay, so you think, all right, so this is just a reverse harem show. She is oblivious to all of this. The one thing I would say that the main character, I wouldn't say all the other characters, but I really love that has a bit of, I know just for Drew's benefit, there's another isekai called Konosuba, which has good humor. The main character in this has that level of humor. So here's all the characters that love the main character. One of the pictures, which I hope will cycle around a bit, is a conference room, which is inside the main character's head, where she has different aspects of herself debating. The humor of that and her actions, I feel, are a bit Konosuba-esque, and I wish, but all the other characters are played straight because they just they just think she's the most amazing person in the world. But she never realizes this fact, and she still believes, even to the end of the first season, she has she's prepped for, okay, who's the main girl going to end up with, and how am I going to get screwed? she keeps the doom flag. She keeps saying it, and she keeps thinking, "Oh no, I can't let that talk to him because then she'll start a relationship with him, and that will lead to my doom." But even though she actually completely swaps all the positions, and the whole cast, even the female protagonist of the video game, doesn't choose any of the male characters. Instead, basically picks her. And she still doesn't understand.
That's amazing.
So I wouldn't say this. I'm not going to say this show's amazing or anything. It's really, I just think it is so lighthearted. It's so fun, and it's a nice world, and just the interactions and the sheer obliviousness, which is really fun, of the main character. is just brilliant. I mean, like, so one of the characters is the prince who she's actually engaged with, who's supposed to fall in love with the thing. She's like, oh, if he goes down that route, I need to make sure he doesn't kill me, because that's one of the outcomes, is that she goes into a sword fight and gets killed. So she learns he's afraid of snakes. So one of the things she does is she spends all her time trying to make the most realistic snake to have in her pocket to throw at him so she can run away. So everyone's confused that she spends time practicing her accuracy at throwing toy snakes at things.
Oh my god!
It's like, why are you doing this? It is quite fun. I really like the character and the interactions between because of what she's doing, she's actually a really nice character, and the effects she has on all the people are really nice. It's in the second season now, so a bit of a spoiler that obviously, yeah, the end of the first season. This one I'm gonna say is a little bit of a negative I want to say about the second season. The first season is like the end of the game or the outcome of the game. So she realizes, oh, she's not doomed. So in the second season of the show, I do feel that though things are happening, even then she's oblivious to it. That she doesn't have the worry of what she's called the doom flags, things about that will lead to her death or death or expulsion from the country, because those are the outcomes the character had in the game. So I do feel in the second season it has lost a bit, because maybe they could have said that there was going to be an expansion to the game that she knew about, and she's worried about other possible doom flags. But so in the second season, that aspect of her knowledge of the game is a bit gone, but it leads on to just her interactions when freed from that. So it is still kind of cool, and other things are happening to do with magic and her possible doom, but not related to the game. Overall, right, I just enjoy the setting and just the characters of it. I just watch it, and I'm just happy at the end of each episode, just from the sheer hijinks that ensue.
Hey, you can't ask for anything more than that.
So yeah. I do have a question though. So with we're seeing all these screenshots and things, there seems to be like a change in her age. Like, is that...
Yeah, so they in both seasons, because they do flashbacks in the second season, she starts off as a kid. That's when she awakens as the her past from our world, right? So, but I think from episode 4 onwards, she's at the older stage, at which she goes to the school where the game setting is. So you get the first few episodes where she's doing things as a kid, trying to alter the futures that she knows will happen. Like, for instance, in the first episode, so there's a short-haired blonde kid, which is her adoptive brother, which she meets as a kid. And in the game, he has so much earth magic that he accidentally keeps hurting people with it. And she's supposed to be a bit of a brat, and she teases him constantly, which causes him, in the game as a kid, he becomes a shut-in and lives his entire life as a kid in his room. And then when he goes older, he becomes a playboy, and that leads him to the blonde girl there. That's his route. So she absolutely does not want him to be a shut-in, because she has to make best friends with him to try and avoid, because she's worried he'll shut himself in his room and he'll become that's the route. She's really nice to him, but she gets injured by his power, and then he starts to become a shut-in. In the first episode, so it's the point that she literally grabs an axe and starts chopping down the door, because she's like, no, you can't be a shut-in, I have to. And instead of she literally she chops the door down, and then her mum finds out at the end of the episode, is not very happy that this girl who's engaged to a prince is hacking down doors with an axe. But she doesn't realize that, all this action of like trying to keep him from becoming pulled into a shell actually makes him fall in love with her, but she never realizes that.
Of course not. No.
It's yeah. So you got the setting as a kid, and then the setting at the main thing as a school. That's the way the first season works. In the second season, we have had, I think, 1 or 2 flashbacks back to them as some stories of them as a kid again, which is all right. It's pretty good. Oh, but another negative to the show, because you were saying about other things reusing elements, right? Just to point out, in the first season and the second season, we've had basically the same episode twice, which is in the first season, they get pulled into a book which shows everyone their heart's desire sort of thing.
Yeah.
Basically they want to get with the main girl, but hers is she just wants to laze around, read books, and eat food. And in the latest episode of the second season, we have a dollhouse which basically did exactly the same thing, but they were slightly different what their things were. It was a bit weird, but it was a bit like in the same episode as the first season. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say I just really enjoy it. It just is a fun thing to watch, and I just like the humor. Yeah.
I need to give it a go.
I would say give it a go. It's fun. Yeah.
Let me take a look at that.
Cool. Right. Well, I think that's all the shows that we have watched this season. So shall we go back to the other view and just chill and chat and
Normal view.
bring it to an end?
Ah, beautiful,
Hurrah.
beautiful.
Everyone's gone silent. Cool.
Well, I think you wanted actually, Zeno, to say something about how you felt this season was going versus last season.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel that with this season, like there's out of all the shows that I've started, the only one that I'm truly invested in, like no matter what, I'll watch it to the end, is Remake Our Life. Yeah, the one where the guy goes back and, you know, like that's pretty much the only one that I really want to watch to the end. Everything else, I think I could just take it or leave it.
That's fair. No, you're not going to enjoy everything.
No, but with last season, we had 86, we had VV, you know, we had the me getting up Annie chart to find out what else we had.
Sounds like I picked a terrible time to come back to anime.
Season of My Life as a Villainess, which was very good. We also had Slime. No.
Yeah, we had Slime part. Oh, sorry, there was also oh crap, what was the Dragon Maid season 2? That's the other thing I'm really keen on this year. Sorry, this season. But what else we had last season? I'm trying hard because I watched quite a few things. Oh yeah, there was a Higahire. There was Combatants Will Be Dispatched.
When did ReZero come out?
Yes.
Was ReZero? I don't think ReZero.
I think that was first season this year.
What, winter?
Okay.
Yeah. That would make more sense. But yeah, so there was a number of shows last season. Oh yeah, the oh god, I don't actually have the English translated name. Can I easily find this on Anime Planet?
Nope.
Hopefully I can. What? That one, go there. Full Dive, the ultimate next gen full dive RPG is even shitter than real life. That was the other show that I'd watched last season. Yeah. Like that's the one that was a train wreck that you couldn't help but constantly watch just get worse, right? Like that one was like a guilty pleasure of a series last season. But like, yeah, honestly, this season it's pretty much just Dragon Maid season 2 and Remake Our Lives. Everything else I can live without.
Well, you're going to get some seasons with the good stuff, and I don't know if there is a weighting in the year to which is the preferred season to release you good stuff in, but there may be, you know.
This could have been a knock-on effect from the
COVID. Yeah.
I was gonna say the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Oh, that's much better. Let's start using that instead.
Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yeah, no, because at a period of time, like you couldn't say COVID on YouTube because YouTube.
Oh,
would,
you say the beer bug or coof.
Kofifi.
Sure. Anyway, so yeah, fuck knows what he was on about. Right, so yeah, I think, you know, are you guys happy with how things are going? Are you guys gonna pick up anything new from what we have discussed?
Yeah, what was the one with the
Nighthead?
It's a criminal to criminalizing things which are not proof.
Nighthead, yeah.
Nighthead. That one, I think that one sounded really good. I will definitely have a look at that, and I promised to catch up on your show with the one you really love.
Remake Our Life.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I plan to...
The isekai with the guy in the kingdom did sound pretty cool. I like that. It's interesting to see what outcomes he comes to and things. But yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's just a lot of pondering, and that actually that was the show that was like, we're gonna tell you the state of affairs in our world. We're not actually gonna show you though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, so is there a lot of meetings in rooms to decide things? You don't actually get to see the outcome on the people.
Yes.
You don't see like a crippled town being like, I need to figure out how to grow better crops. You don't see that. It's just like, grow better crops.
One of the things, one of the problems that they have in the elf land is that the trees aren't the foliage underneath in the forest is not growing properly, and he basically introduces them to trim the trees back.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's such a genius thing, but you never see it happen.
Right, yeah. Also, once again, it's leading to my theory that it's not just the king that's the idiot in this kingdom.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the whole fucking kingdom.
A kingdom of idiots ruled by a fool.
God. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep up with Dead Nighthead and Sonny Boy, and I need to pick up Remake My Life and Villainess.
I like
Villainess.
I'm probably also going to keep up with Battle in 5 minutes.
Don't expect anything special, but it's just
5 seconds.
fun. You can just put it on and just watch. You don't have to think. It's just enjoyable. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm lost.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I'm back. Okay. Sorry, I've just made a realization, by the way.
Yeah.
Nasuth is the manga version. I am the anime adaptation. You're the Netflix adaptation.
Fuck you,
that is a huge insult. Jesus.
Oh my god. Yeah. Right. On that bombshell, let's end the episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you have any comments, please feel free to throw them in the description. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna read
Hell
them
yeah.
all.
Oh, okay.
Fuck.
Well,
kill myself here.
You would say, obviously, this is still experimental. We
Yep.
will be working on changing and doing things and restructuring and just having a go over the next few episodes and months, or however long we're running this for.
Yep. Any suggestions on what we could do better, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And yeah, we will catch you guys in the future, won't we, Loz and Nasuth?
Yeah.
We need a catchphrase like "keep drinking" or something, but that's terrible advice. So maybe not that.
Well, we could end by saying Kanpai.
Kanpai!
Bye.
Bye.